process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started. Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
Truck crash? Choose William Mattar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. After a crash, an investigation may need to be started immediately. So call now. When you visit WilliamMattar.com, you'll see that motor vehicle accidents are what we do. Truck crash? Call William Mattar. 315-444-4444. South State Street, Syracuse. 315-444-4444.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, a nice crisp start to October. Although it didn't get quite as cold as they had said it was going to, at least so far. Although temperatures tend to drop in the 6 and 7 o'clock hour in the morning. We'll see what happens. But some areas probably got some frost. Christine, that's white stuff that forms on the ground and it freezes all the vegetation. So
we do have a frost advisory in effect until 9 o'clock this morning, and we'll probably have that for the next couple of days.
Lovely. And then it warms up, and if you look to next week, oh my, big change, at least is what they were predicting over the weekend. After this weekend, I should say. Temperatures that are highs that might not get too far out of the 40s into the low 50s.
Oh,
so
boy.
some cooler weather, but hey, it's almost seems like it's a little early for that, but it is that time of year, I guess, if that makes sense. What a weekend. I got it right. I called the Mets. I called the game. I called the weekend. I said there was going to be a sweep. I just didn't think it would be a Braves sweep. So maybe I guess I didn't call it. Wow.
Well, Manaski was calling the Mets a mess this morning.
He was. And it was. They just could not. There was just no spark. They just could not get past the Braves and the Braves pitching. And now the Mets sit 2 games behind with 3 games left. It's pretty much over in terms of winning the pennant. Obviously, they'll be in the playoffs, but that's a rough choice, right? That's a rough task. You get no break, and the winner of the National League, the Braves, will get that first bye.
Yeah, so it looks like the Mets would be the 3rd division winner, and they would play the wild card team with the worst record,
which is never good for the New York Mets. Wow, after being in first place all season long, to let it slip away like that is just terrible.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even after about the second inning Saturday, I just kind of had a feeling that this was not going to go good, and it was ugly. I was checking the score Saturday night, and last night I didn't even look.
They got out to a lead last night. I mean, they were staying with them, but every time the Mets scored, Bassett allowed
the Braves
to score as well, and they end up losing 3 in a row. Just terrible. Meanwhile, I wonder, will Judge actually break the record, Davey? Are you getting a little bit nervous? Just a few games left.
Yeah, they're in 4 in Texas starting tonight.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's possible he ends the season tied. I can't imagine, though, he doesn't hit one out
I think
by the end of Wednesday.
they get back to the Mets real quick. They end up playing San Diego in the first round. And if they go there, they go against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we would have to
ultimately.
Yeah, we'd have to play the Dodgers anyway. The Dodgers don't scare me, to be honest. And I said this. What was it? I don't know if I said this on the air. The Braves scare me more than the Dodgers do. It's because we beat the Dodgers the year we went to the World Series. I know that doesn't matter anything now, but it's that whole mental thing. When you see a team, are you afraid of them?
The Mets this year have struggled with the Braves. It's been that. Yet when Atlanta came, they took 2 or 3 in New York. But in this case, just really, really bad. From some other games to get into, it was a huge weekend of sports, of course. Syracuse now going 5-0. No big surprise there. But Davey, I didn't see them in the one poll. I saw them in the coaches poll. But you're saying they're in the top 25, both polls?
They're 22 in one poll, 21 in the coaches poll.
Okay, all right, cool. Not that really means all that much, but here's the reality check for Syracuse. While they've had a couple of big games and they are 5-0, they have a tough schedule coming up here.
Yeah, they are off this week, so they don't play again essentially for 2 weeks. On October 15th, they will battle 14th ranked NC State at home. That's followed by a road trip to number 5 Clemson. And then you got Notre Dame, Pitt, Wake Forest, Florida State. Yeah, it's a tough rest of the way, but they're already at 5 wins. That's a surprise.
Listen, first time since what?
1987.
87 that Syracuse has been 5-0.
And Babers has taken a little bit of heat.
Okay.
Because he left Sean Tucker in the beginning of the third quarter, and Tucker got knocked down, and there was a hush across the dome. I didn't see the game. I listened to it on the radio.
Yeah, but I think he
ended up walking off. But
I'm not sure that I'm completely would be completely against. I'm not sure that I expected him, no matter what the score was, to start the third quarter with second string.
He was already up 234 yards,
right.
And they were going 10-minute quarters for the third and fourth quarter.
Oh, they were?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they shouldn't have.
Wait.
They played the first series with their first string, and then they pulled everybody in the third quarter. And they were up by what at that point?
It was 59-0. I think
the
they were
final was 59.
Yeah, I don't know how far they were up.
It was 49 at the half. So are you saying for the second half of that game they played 10-minute quarters?
10 minutes third quarter and 10-minute fourth quarter. Both coaches, Babers and the coach of Wagner,
agreed to that. Never heard of that ever before.
I can't remember.
First of all, this game doesn't belong here in the season anyway. It just doesn't. If you want to do this in preseason or make it your first easy game of the season, but playing this in week number 5 just doesn't make any sense to me.
Especially homecoming.
Right. Well, I guess let's guarantee a win. We don't expect much out of this team this year, so let's guarantee a win. I don't know.
Coach, we're up by 7 touchdowns at the half. Any chance we can go to 90-second quarters for the second half?
Wow.
Try and get the bus out of here.
While we're talking about a Judge falling short as of right now, and right now they seem to be pitching to him. At least what I saw over the weekend. I was trying to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, but on Saturday during his last at bat, I think it was the 7th or 8th inning. I was watching a little bit before I
walked
do
him.
some stuff. I watch it, and the pitcher from Baltimore ended up walking him, and the crowd was yelling names at the was named throwing
I'm
offensive
sure.
names at the pitcher.
Albert Pujols, however, continues to thrill crowds. Before retirement, he gave his fans one more home run and tied a classic record in his final regular season home game yesterday in St. Louis. They ended up losing to the Pirates, but the Cardinals have clinched their division. And, wow, he's been quite impressive.
702. 702.
Yeah.
So, and let me just correct something that I realized that I said a few minutes ago that obviously doesn't make sense. The Mets would be a wild card, not the third division winner.
Correct.
So, right.
They go against San Diego.
Yeah.
The Braves will be the third
Obviously,
division winner.
That winner would go against the Dodgers.
So, man. And then the Buffalo Bills fall behind early on and make an enormous comeback and end up winning by a field goal yesterday against Baltimore. Wow, what a game that was.
Yeah, they got a touchdown right before the half to make it a 10-point game. The Bills did trail by 17, looked kind of flat, and then, of course, Josh Allen and company come from behind. It was an interesting the way it played out at the end of the game because it looked like part of the Raven defense wanted to allow him to score a touchdown. The other part was trying to tackle the running back.
There was fighting on they were fighting on the sidelines. So.
Yeah, and ultimately the Bills were able to just run the clock down to the final seconds and kick a walk-off field goal.
That is so unlike that was handled so unlike a traditional Bills team. Their clock management there was perfect. Brought it down. There was nothing on the clock left. I don't think there was anything on the clock left after the field goal. But you're watching Josh Allen literally plowing forward and avoiding crossing the goal line to prevent the touchdown. And you know what would have happened. I mean, I think the Bills have been stung so many times with that extra minute at the end of a game. They worked the clock perfectly. And they were fighting on the Baltimore sidelines. They were fighting. Fighting over whatever the decision should have been made. And after Tua, a Miami Dolphins quarterback, took hits in 2 straight games, the NFL, did you see they ended up firing the independent doctor who made the call, and now the NFL says they are likely making changes to their concussion protocol, and it could happen as early as next week. Don't you think this falls, it falls on the doctor who's quickly fired. But don't you think the doctor's kind of a scapegoat here?
Right, because the team is telling him, keep our players in.
And maybe they're not completely saying that.
Yeah, there's a reason that the other physician is independent. He's affiliated with the NFL, but not affiliated with the team. And it's to avoid what kind of Christine had said right there, because in the old days when the doctor worked for the team,
it's like he was
clear him to play or you don't work
trying
here
to win
anymore. Yeah,
but I mean the NFL has to take some responsibility for this. I mean that's their hire right there. I mean how does he make that call when clearly anybody and their brother watching that game, the Bills game, realized that there's no way he can even walk. His legs are coming out from underneath him. And they said, well, he had a cramp. That just didn't make any sense. So now they fired the doctor quickly, and they say they're making changes. Stepping up to the plate here, I guess, in another sport. But they're planning to change the concussion protocol. And what does that mean?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. We'll have to see exactly what it means. You know, the hit that's really injured him and when he was laying on the field, that was an ugly hit, and obviously there was no coming back from that. But I wonder because let's be honest, the NFL doesn't want it to be a situation where just because a guy, his helmet makes contact with another player's helmet, right? You don't want to you want your stars on the field.
Well, you saw that a little bit in the Bills game yesterday. There were a couple times that Josh Allen took hits that had some helmet contact, but they were not called, they weren't penalties. Because you got to find a medium here, a happy medium.
Well, and not even the penalty point, though, but to be able to – I don't know how they changed the protocol. Obviously, if a guy's wobbly and woozy, he shouldn't be out on the field. But other than that, when they say they're going to tighten it up, you don't want it so tight that guys aren't hurt and you're not allowing them back out on the field.
Yeah.
But in high school sports, and I know that this is not high school sports, and these guys are paid millions of dollars, but in high school sports, there's a mandatory resting period if you've gotten a concussion. So can they not institute?
But they said he didn't have a concussion, so that doesn't even matter, Christine.
They said he didn't have a concussion.
He did not have a concussion. Nope.
So
he's
maybe
fine.
after you black out? Did he black out?
I don't know. He looked like he'd blacked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it clearly was just a bad call on the doctor's part. But it's if you make the rule, if you have a concussion, you can't play, right? In the NFL, if you're diagnosed with a concussion, you can't come back out and play. So in this case, they just said he didn't have a concussion; he was fine.
And somebody, please correct me if I'm wrong here. This is just my understanding. A concussion is not something you can instantly diagnose with, like to know for sure, right? Like if somebody twists their ankle,
Yes.
it's like, well,
I don't know what the test is,
Right.
How they determine, because it's not like that he's going in, I don't think, and having a brain scan.
Correct.
You're doing some sort of an exercise, and do you know what it is, Davey?
No.
Yeah,
And they test their pupils. I know that's like a preliminary thing. They test their pupils to see if they're dilated.
Well, all I can tell you is if the rule is they sit after a concussion and the doctor says he doesn't have a concussion, how are they changing any rules here? It sounds to me like they're probably going to be following their own rules. And what they're saying is the doctor made mistakes in diagnosing whether or not he had a concussion.
Yeah, but Bill, did you see the hit that he took from Matt Milano last week?
Yeah.
He plowed him down. And when he stood up, Tua was like woozy.
Yeah.
See, that's the sign of a concussion.
Well,
They ain't no sign of a back injury.
When he was walking, his feet went out from underneath him. Yeah. Although, listen, if you ever had a back problem before, you can be walking along and lose your legs because of a back injury. There's no doubt about that. But he just, with that hit, you combine what you saw and then the reaction that he was giving, you had to kind of conclude that was a concussion.
Yeah, certainly there was no doubt about it.
But then he was back the next week.
Yeah.
He was back because the doctor said he was okay. Christine will do an update coming up in a second. You want to pipe in on any of this? There is so much to deal with here this morning as we kick off October. I was watching, just flipping around the channels and landed on Spectrum News. Is that what it's called now? Spectrum News?
I don't know. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And the meteorologist, it's called what, Davey?
It's called Spectrum News 1.
Spectrum News 1. And the meteorologist Saturday morning is like, can you believe it's already October 1st? I'm like, I think it's a prerequisite of any meteorologist. You must go on the air the first day of every month and say, can you believe it's September 1st already?
Well, I think we should increase the trend here. We should speed it up a bit. I think every morning when Christine gives the date, you should say, like tomorrow, can you believe it's October 4th?
Yeah, wow, I can't believe it. Well, I actually have audio on that just to prove it coming up here. 6:38, Christine with updates. Coming right up here Monday morning at WIBX.
Utica Comets, this is Roxanne.
Roxanne, it's almost hockey season. Put on the red light.
What? You just told me not to put on the red light.
No. You gotta put on the red light. Put on the red light. Put on the red light.
Okay, we get it. The season starts October 17th. Can I stop now?
Oh, come on. One more time.
Tickets on sale at uticacomets.com. See you October 17th.
Remember the days when you could walk into a store and everybody knows you by name? The days of shopping and our small community is expanding into other cities and counties. This is what Bridge to Connect is all about. Connecting people and businesses locally, regionally, and nationally. Bridge to Connect is your networking partner. Let's support one another and build community together that supports us back. For more info, go to bridge2connect.com, featuring Big Earl's stump removal. Get rid of your stumps and lawn care in one simple call. Call today.
WIBX First News with Keeler in the morning news time is 6:39. 38 degrees. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 90 seconds. Your news is brought to you by Baird Private Wealth Management, a strong financial partner for 100 years. Visit bairdoffices.com/Utica for more information. The death toll is climbing. Search and rescue efforts ongoing in Florida as the state recovers from Hurricane Ian. More than 80 deaths have been linked to the storm, with most coming in the Sunshine State. Hundreds of thousands of state residents still without power today after Ian made landfall last week. Parts of Florida were hit with catastrophic flooding, causing widespread damage. The Coast Guard suspending the search for 16 migrants who went missing after their boat capsized off the Florida coast. A boat carrying more than 24 Cuban migrants sank Wednesday, hours before Hurricane Ian made landfall. Several migrants were able to swim to Stock Island east of Key West. A total of 9 people have been located and rescued. At least 2 bodies have been recovered. The U.S. Supreme Court opening a new term today with a new member, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. They've already agreed to take up a number of high-profile cases, including one that could lead the court to do away with affirmative action when it comes to college admissions. They'll also hear cases involving voting rights and immigration policy. Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk set to go to trial this month over his attempts to get out of the $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. But first, the world's richest man is expected to be deposed under oath about those efforts. That's expected to take place this Thursday and Friday. United Airlines temporarily suspending service at New York's JFK Airport. Officials there noting their schedule was too small to remain competitive, especially with the start of the winter season. In a statement, United said it would continue its search for a, quote, more desirable schedule and resume operations if and when it becomes available. Final preparations being made for Judaism's holiest day of the year. Yom Kippur starts Tuesday night and ends Wednesday night. Yom Kippur is also known as the Day of Atonement, with its central themes being atonement and repentance. It's typically marked by a day-long fast and intensive prayer. For many, that means spending most of the day attending synagogue services. And a Native American activist is being remembered following her death. Sacheen Littlefeather passed away yesterday at her home in Marin County, California, at the age of 75. It came just weeks after she received an apology from the Academy Awards for how she was treated nearly 50 years ago. We've talked about her here on the Keeler Show. Littlefeather made headlines in 1973 for refusing an Oscar on behalf of Marlon Brando. The actor was protesting how Native Americans were treated by Hollywood.
Well, John Wayne physically went after her physically.
He did.
During the Oscars. They had to hold him back. Crazy.
He did, yep.
He thought he was in like a movie or something, like Cowboys in Indian movie. Crazy.
Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Widespread frost this morning. We are under a frost advisory until 9 a.m. Otherwise, mostly sunny today. The high near 61 degrees. Patchy frost tonight, partly cloudy with the low around 36. Right now, 37 degrees. WIBX. First News with Keeler in the morning news time is 6:43.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, an oil change with full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advance can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $36.99. Find your solution for better fuel efficiency today at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com. Get in zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Embark on a journey of romance this season at Banana Republic Factory with 50% off everything. Discover elegant tailoring, timeless outerwear, fall fabrics, and beyond, starting at $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online, only at Banana Republic Factory.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Harry G., the heat pump expert from Country Suburban. With New York State planning to eliminate fossil fuels, heat pumps are the wave of the future. Heat pumps can save you up to 30% or more on your heating and cooling bills. Right now, you can receive up to $20,000 in heat pump incentives. Call 315-735-5300 for free estimate.
Embark on a journey of romance this season at Banana Republic Factory with 50% off everything. Discover elegant tailoring, timeless outerwear, fall fabrics, and beyond, starting at $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online only at Banana Republic Factory.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Hey, New York Sash is kicking off their bathroom makeover sale where you can get 20% off your dream bath remodeling project. The Sash, New York Sash installers can give your bathroom a whole new look just in one day. I know 2 different families who just recently had bathrooms put in, and they love them. No mess, no maintenance, no worries with the New York Sash warranty. And 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. New York Sash tub and shower products never mold or mildew, making it easy to clean and maintain. They won't chip, scratch, or peel. New York Sash also has a complete line of colors, patterns, and accessibility products that can be customized to any bathroom or any budget, and it's all done in 1 or 2 days. It's incredible. It's like miraculous. You come home and it's done. The New York Sash bath remodeling solution is affordable, and right now you can get it for 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. Don't spend another day with that outdated, stained, cracked tub. Go online or visit the New York Sash Design Center on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Trying to find my little clip here. See if it shows up in my feed here this morning. As I was watching over see if it's popping up here, watching over the weekend, and I think that's not that. Every time a judge comes up, I do you tape him, Davey? I put the camera on. You never know. I mean, it's history. If you're watching it in your home, you have the moment that he broke the record. I have the moment that he tied the record on my phone. Well, I caught it a little late. I have the aftermath of it. I almost had it. And then, as I mentioned, let's see if I can get this to play here. Nothing seems to want to play for me this morning. Let's see. Hit this button. It should work.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, October 1st. Can you believe it? Already October. And we...
I swear, Christine, they have to say it. It's something a meteorologist must say. It's already October. Can you believe it? It does seem like it came on to us pretty quickly. But that's life, right?
It is life.
If you're sitting at home and you have nothing to do, it feels like it took forever to get to October. But if you're busy and you're doing stuff, I guess probably it feels like, wow, I can't believe it's already October. But imagine someone who has a really boring life with nothing at all to do, and you're just sitting home. You're watching the clock tick. It's like, I thought October would never get here. But meteorologists must be very, very busy.
I feel the same way about, like, those people who, like, start decorating, like, as soon.
Yeah, early.
Yes.
I knew one person who, they had an enormous basement. And they just decided, instead of decorating the tree, they bought one that was already decorated. And instead of taking it down every year, they just carefully carried it down into the basement, put a little cloth over it, and they brought it up at Christmas time the next year. That's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
You could put 1 or 2 ornaments on just to make, take a picture and like, well, we were decorating the tree this weekend. But how much easier that is. Albert Pujols, as we mentioned, continues to thrill crowds before retirement. giving fans one more home run. Here's the audio.
The 0-1. Albert lifts it in the air out to center. Going back, Reynolds at the wall. He's done it. He's done it. His final regular season home game, number 702. He's tied the game. He's tied Babe Ruth all time in runs batted in. 2,214.
Pretty impressive. I thought this was kind of interesting. You're seeing a lot of it right now with, the apparently, is it Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? Those are the two outcasts. It was Meghan Markle that spoke with Oprah, right?
Right.
Yeah. So apparently, who has the book? Is it Markle or are they both writing the book? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
I don't know.
It seems, though, that after they left during the funeral ceremonies and all of that, Harry has gone to the publisher of the book, the tell-all book, and he's trying to edit and take back some of the things that he said. The question is, here's the problem. And, some of the things that she said, his wife. But here's the problem. They may have signed a deal where they don't have the right to do any editing at this point.
Right. I don't know, though, that it's in the publisher's best interest to not honor that because Harry and Meghan probably have a lot of books in them. So
could be. They're making in the millions, obviously, $4 or $5 million for this. On Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, it just shows they did a little supercut showing how a lot of people are dropping the name of the Queen in order to make money, and QVC. Everywhere you turn, they have a whole bunch of Queen stuff to sell. Doing a supercut of QVC name-dropping the death of the Queen to sell various items like Queen shoes and Queen diamonds. Check out this as they do some name-dropping here.
The beautiful Queen Elizabeth just passed, but she actually wore Clark's and her sister on a trip to Africa.
Because of the passing of the Queen, how we have kind of returned to the look of diamonds.
Look how rich that purple is.
I mean, we're thinking about the Queen right now in England, and I think what's so gorgeous when you look at this royal purple, there is an elegance to this.
Did you see that thing about Queen Elizabeth too? She had someone who wore her shoes before she wore them because they broke them in, right? And she never had an uncomfortable shoe in her entire life. Well, guess what? You do not need someone to break these shoes in.
Oh, there you go. They're selling a lot of Queen of England stuff. Yeah. Non-Americans are sharing some dead giveaways that someone is an American. What do you think that would be? What are dead giveaways? If you're like walking through Canada and you're wondering, look at all these people. I wonder which ones are American and which ones are Canadian.
We're arrogant pigs, right?
You
Aren't
think
we?
that's it? Do you think that's what the people think of us as arrogant pigs?
Entitled.
Well,
yeah.
that's shame.
Our nose is up.
That's a terrible shame. Here's what they say are dead giveaways. A few of them, ranch dressing. If you ask for ranch dressing, they don't have ranch dressing anywhere else in the world. They probably call it something else. Here's a big one, and we learned this when we were traveling over the summer. They know that you're an American when you ask for ice with your drink. Nobody serves ice with drinks. If you get a Coke or a Pepsi and you ask for ice, it comes in another cup. They don't ever put the ice in with the
You're kidding me.
No,
They have it warm, or is it
no,
chilled?
it's cold. It's cold, but it doesn't have ice. And they look
Ice
at
is
it,
a luxury.
They look at it. It is a bit of a luxury, and they also look at it like it's going to melt and change the taste of the drink. Why would you want ice in your drink? Around here, we even put ice in wine. You see people do that, and some people like it. I saw somebody putting ice in a beer. The hell are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, dude?
Well, I needed watered down a little bit. Wearing your baseball cap backwards is another one.
Okay, I think that's odd.
I think just wearing a baseball cap alone would be somewhat American, wouldn't it?
Right. Is there a lot of Brits walking around with the Yankee hat on? Probably not.
Over the weekend, SNL, Saturday Night Live, debuted for the year. There with a whole bunch of new cast members. And it was kind of a funny opening bit. It was the the thing they do on ESPN on Monday Night Football. What's his name? The brothers.
Oh, the
Paytons, where they're on and they're doing, they're basically watching the game with you, but stopping it and making comments and that sort of thing. They were being portrayed, and instead of doing a football game this week, they were doing the debut of Saturday Night Live. So they stop and freeze frame. It's like, oh, they're not going to that joke. That's the oldest joke in the book. Who would do that? It was really kind of that was probably the only funny bit that I saw. After that, it got pretty old.
I watched for about 5 minutes. And
did you see the opening?
I didn't see the opening, but I saw the bit where it was like a game show where he was trying to give him money for not inappropriately replying to a woman's direct message.
Yeah.
And nobody could win the money.
Nobody could win it.
Not even the gay guy?
No, he couldn't even win it. He had to say something inappropriate.
Yeah.
I don't get why that is, but it is the case. Anyway, so that's where we stand for a Monday morning. Here on the first day of October, we have a lot to get to. Our free money question of the day is coming up next hour. Chance for you to win $100 from the Hobica Law Firm. This morning's question, I guarantee you, will have something to do with something we talk about here this morning. That means you'll have a little of an added opportunity to walk away with the cash. $106.90 on the line here this morning.
By the way, did you see the pictures from the Cheese Festival over the weekend?
In Little Falls.
Holy cow.
That place was wall-to-wall people. I couldn't believe the photo. I saw several photos.
I couldn't believe you can get that many people in Little Falls. I mean, it looked like thousands and thousands of people.
It did. It was a huge crowd. The Cheese Festival apparently does some big drawing. We'll also talk to Ben Simons this morning with the on New York State Farm overtime rate and how that is changing and what that is going to do to farmers, not just in upstate, but really all throughout the state, which most farmers are upstate. However, where it becomes a problem is in neighboring states. So if you're a migrant worker, which many farms, especially the larger farms, really rely on tremendously, it versus those across the state line, it just completely changes competitiveness for the farmers. We'll speak with Ben Simons on that and what it all means coming up in a bit. And Christine has news along with Fox News coming up. Top of the hour. I cannot believe it's already October, the first Monday in October. By the way, clocks won't be moving until, what was the date again?
I think November 6th.
It's like in November, so you've got some time there.
November 7th.
It's 6:57 at WIBX.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and includes 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Road, W295DI Utica Road, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Many still have no power, no water, no sewer service. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. About 600,000 homes and businesses without electricity still in Florida after Hurricane Ian hit. Congressman Greg Stubbe tells Fox Crews have a lot of work to do.
Which is going to take, in some places, I've been given estimates 6 to 8 weeks in Fort Myers.
That's the area Ian hit first and hardest.
In Lee County, Sarasota County, the lines to get gas are long as people have been waiting hours to fill up their tanks or standing in lines to fill up gas cans. And with so many homes just wiped out, thousands are left with nowhere to go, no running water, no power. Shelters in Florida are packed with thousands with little to nothing left to go home to.
That's Fox's Lauren Blanchard in Naples. Ian is blamed for at least 68 deaths, most of them in Florida, where President Biden will visit on Wednesday. Today,
both he and the First Lady, they're going to be in Ponce, Puerto Rico amid the fallout of Hurricane Fiona. The storm, which hit the island roughly 2 weeks ago, left behind a lot of damage. An estimated 100,000 people still without power this morning. And over the weekend, the president vowed to get Puerto Rico the relief it needs.
Fox's Mark Meredith. The Supreme Court's new term starts today with new Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson hearing her first case related to the Clean Water Act. Affirmative action and voting rights among key cases this term. Ukraine is retaking even more areas Russia had taken in a counteroffensive days after Russia annexed 4 regions.
Russian President Putin claims the people living here are now Russian citizens, though his troops relentlessly shell their roads and villages. Civilians in eastern Ukraine are paying the highest price amid the conflict. This weekend, another humanitarian convoy was hit by Russian fire, killing at least 24 people, including 13 children.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Kyiv. It's Nobel Prize week, which will end with the Peace Prize winner. It started with physiology and medicine. A Swedish scientist, the winner, Svante Pääbo, honored for his discoveries on human evolution. America's listening to Fox News.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's heroes and their families since 9/11. U.S. Army Specialist Jason Wheeler is one such hero. He re-enlisted after 9/11, but training accident injuries left him unable to walk. Specialist Wheeler and his family received a mortgage-free smart home that's custom designed for his needs. Help heroes like Jason and their families. Join Tunnel to Towers' mission to do good in their honor. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning news time is 7:03. 37 degrees right now on this Monday, October 3rd. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. A Brewerton man arrested twice in 1 week after allegedly breaking into an abandoned gas station and then burning it down, allegedly by mistake as he was trying to get warm. Firefighters say the building is a total loss. 32-year-old Kevin Summers was also arrested last week for allegedly grabbing the steering wheel of a car while he was a passenger in it, causing the car to crash and the driver to be hospitalized. A monk from Stark, New York, under arrest. A Herkimer County man facing charges after allegedly frightening a woman and interfering with her ability to do her job. Police say 60-year-old Martin P. Monk repeatedly contacted the O&D Young School employee. He's now facing several charges, including stalking. You could read that full story at WIBX950.com. The New York State Department of Labor moving forward with a plan to lower the threshold for overtime on farmers across the state. Farm workers in New York are currently paid their flat or regular rate for 60 hours of work, not getting paid overtime until hour 61 and beyond. We'll talk this morning with farmer Ben Simons, and you can read that full story as well as some reaction to that new law at WIBX950.com. Because of the increased spread of COVID-19, the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is recommending residents in 2 central New York counties wear masks to avoid getting sick. Coronavirus levels, they say, are considered to be high in Onondaga and Oswego counties. Masking recommendations are based on several factors, including hospital capacity, COVID hospitalizations, and new cases. No word yet on whether those recommendations will spread to other counties in central New York. Drivers still paying less at the pump to fill up their vehicles following another drop in gas prices. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular sits at $3.65 a gallon. That's down 10 cents in the past week and 48 cents in the past month. There hasn't been a Powerball jackpot winner in weeks, but lottery players are hoping that changes tonight. Saturday's jackpot went unclaimed, so the prize ahead of this evening's drawing has grown to at least $336 million. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. We are under a frost advisory until 9 o'clock. Mostly sunny today, the high near 61 degrees. Patchy frost tonight. Partly cloudy with a low around 36. More patchy frost on Tuesday. Mostly sunny with a high near 63 degrees. Partly cloudy Tuesday night with a low around 40 degrees. Your temperature brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. 37 degrees and clear skies right now. WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 7:06. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
How long ago was it we were saying Mets won, Yankees won, Jets won, Bills won, Giants won?
I think I can't believe. Actually, it was right around Labor Day. It was the first time in years where all the teams won. Well, it was the first weekend of football. All the teams won. All the New York teams won on the same day.
Well, a lot of victories in football this weekend, but not so much in baseball as the Mets were swept 3 games by the Atlanta Braves. They fell out of first place in the National League East, now trail the Braves by 2 games with just 3 to play, looking like it will be a wild card berth for the Mets. They lost 5-3 the final on Sunday Night Football as Atlanta completes the sweep.
Who do they play, by the way, Atlanta?
I'll
look that up.
Check
you keep
that
doing what you're doing.
The Yankees dropped their game Sunday against the Orioles. 3-1 was the final. Adley Rutschman had a couple of runs scored. Baltimore now 82-77. Aroldis Chapman takes the loss. The AL East champion Yankees are now 97-61. Football over the weekend. The Bills came from behind, trailing 17 to the Baltimore Ravens. They rallied for a 23-20 victory as time expired. The Bills now 3-1. The Giants moved to 3-1 as they beat the Bears 20-12. An ugly game. Daniel Jones completed just 13 passes for 71 yards. Rolled his ankle at one point in the game. Tyrod Taylor came in, and it appeared clear that Tyrod Taylor was concussed at one point in the fourth quarter of that game. Tried scrambling for a first down, took a headshot, fumbled the ball, appeared woozy. He ended up jogging off the field into the locker room as Jones returned. But then they just had him handing the ball off. As a matter of fact, the first 3 plays when he came back, they went to, I want to call it the Wildcat. It's not the Wildcat. I guess the Dolphins used to call it that. With the running back as your quarterback, they had Daniel Jones lined up as a wide receiver, and they just ran running plays to try to get a first down. Ugly, ugly, ugly. The Giants did not look good, but they are 3-1. And the Jets came back against the Steelers. This was a stunner at the end of the game. They trailed 20-10 late in the fourth quarter, but they rallied for a 24-20 victory. Zach Wilson threw for 252 yards, a touchdown. He was intercepted twice. He also caught a touchdown. Gang Green now 2-2 on the season. Monday Night Football coming up on WIBX. The 49ers hosting the Rams. Our coverage begins at 7:30, and that's brought to you by Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning.
Okay.
I didn't mention Syracuse, but I think everyone knew Friday morning that they were going to win the game.
I think so. But you know what? Here's something that is worth paying attention to, and that is that it's games like these in the last few years previous where the game would be closer than what someone would have kept going. Ultimately that meant they moved up a couple spots in the top 25.
Yeah, Yeah, 49-0 at halftime. Nothing at halftime. A 59-0 final. But Syracuse now ranked 21st in one poll, and 22nd in the other.
We're going to get an update from Ben Simons coming up on New York State's farm overtime rate and the change that's coming up and what it will mean for farmers. A cool, crisp start to your Monday morning. It's 7:10 at WIBX.
High-quality care comes from the compassionate, the courageous, the dedicated nurses and support staff of the Mohawk Valley Health System. Every day, the members of the MVHS team make a difference in our community's health. MVHS is looking for dedicated people to join this exceptional group of employees to care for our patients, residents, and their friends and family. We offer competitive pay, a generous benefit package, and many career options where you can grow. We've increased pay rates for critical jobs, offer reimbursement to become certified in select jobs, and provide sign-on bonuses for certain positions. And now, we're redefining healthcare and health careers in our community with New York's newest hospital opening next year. Join the MVHS team and be part of an organization that takes care of our community. Visit careers.mvhealthsystem.org for more information. Mohawk Valley Health System. Unrivaled care. Unrivaled careers. This is for you.
Embark on a journey of romance this season at Banana Republic Factory with 50% off everything. Discover elegant tailoring, timeless outerwear, fall fabrics, and beyond, starting at $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online, only at Banana Republic Factory.
Montessori Preschool at Notre Dame Elementary School was voted #1 in the Observer Dispatch's Best of the Best. Enrollment for this year is still open, so apply now to reserve a place for your child. Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School is for children 3 to 5 years old and follows the educational principles of Maria Montessori. Our teachers and assistants work one-on-one and in small group instruction to help children develop their potential in an engaging environment, inspiring creativity, better self-discipline, and self-correction and assessment. At Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School, language, art, science, math, and geography are all part of the curriculum. In Montessori classrooms, children make creative choices in their learning, while the classroom teachers offer age-appropriate activities to guide the process and help children become lifelong learners. Enrollment is still open, so apply now. For more information, call 315-724-5118, extension 35, or visit NotreDameUtica.org. That's NotreDameUtica.org.
Embark on a journey of romance this season at Banana Republic Factory with 50% off everything. Discover elegant tailoring, timeless outerwear, fall fabrics, and beyond, starting at $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online, only at Banana Republic Factory.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
You know, the minimum wage in upstate New York is set to go up again. Not just the farming wages and overtime rates, but also minimum wage is expected. Well, not expected. It is going up. It's all part of that $15 an hour thing, and will go incrementally upstate, whereas downstate it went pretty much into place, right?
Yes, so I think what does it go now, $13.20 to $14.20?
So outside New York City, Long Island, and Westchester County, the minimum wage will rise from $13.20 per hour to $14.20, an increase of 7.5%, according to the State Labor Department. It'll happen at the end of the year, beginning of next year. In those other 3 areas of the state, the minimum wage is already $15 an hour and will not increase any further. So Long Island, Westchester County, and New York City, it's already at $15 an hour.
Doesn't that so is it staying at 15 in those areas?
Yep.
And our minimum wage is going to be $14.20.
So, right.
Cost of living is a lot more expensive downstate, though.
It is. It is. It absolutely is. And I think the next step will be to $15 an hour. It'll be a $15 an hour rate around the state.
And how is that fair to New York City? Workers especially. Right? Your minimum wage upstate to work at a gas station, all due respect, right? A gas station or a fast food joint is $15 an hour. It's the same in New York City where the cost of living is what, 2, 3, 4, 12 times as much?
Right, but that's the minimum wage.
That is the minimum. And in this current climate of where, and I'll let you take it after this, Christine, the current climate where it's tough to get people employed, you'll see people saying, all right, we're going to be competitive. If you work here, you're going to make $18.75 an hour, where you'll see less of that upstate. Christine?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, even here, I'm going to say that the people who are not paying more than minimum wage are closed because they cannot get workers. Some major chains that aren't paying, that aren't competitive have closed down. Panera, they're only open a few hours a day where I am.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're seeing, some restaurants have up here as well have decided, Mondays or Tuesdays, or there's a lot of Wednesday to Saturday or Thursday to Saturday openings for restaurants.
If the argument, though, to raise it was that people don't have a living wage and you're paying people to work 40 or more hours a week and they still can't pay basic bills, that argument kind of goes away, doesn't it? When there's such a difference. There's a reason there was $1.80 difference between the New York City minimum wage and upstate.
Well, the minimum wage was always, I'll use the minimum wage where it was when I got out of high school. It was $3.35 an hour. You freaking believe that? That was minimum wage, but it's the state minimum wage. New York City was not. New York City's always had the same minimum wage as upstate,
except for the last decade.
No, not decade. Really, how long has this been? How long did this $15 an hour? I mean, it's getting close to a decade, but it's not a decade. Probably 5 years. When did this go into play? 4 or 5 years ago, where they started raising the minimum wage.
Right. But
and the thought is that upstate businesses would need a gradual period. That's what the legislature fought for. Upstate businesses would need a more gradual period in order to make their way to $15 an hour.
Right. So you have to realize, too, that this affects their unemployment insurance. This affects overtime.
Yeah. Yeah. Then the part is where, if you are a company that pays, you pay a certain scale. So maybe you pay $15 an hour to new employees, but you pay, or $10 an hour to new employees before the increase. But employees who have some tenure with you, they may make $14 an hour, $15 an hour. So now you automatically increase the people who are making the new employees. You increase them, and you can't have them making more than the employees who have been with you for 10 years. So now you got to raise everybody's rates, or do you?
Well, they don't.
Actually,
they don't.
Depends on the company that you work for, I guess.
So, but the other thing is, though, I don't know. It pokes a hole in the argument that brought this legislation forward was that people needed more money because they were working all this time, and they, corporations make all this money. People couldn't pay their bills. That's where you get this whole living wage, et cetera, et cetera. So
you think there
was
should be
a scale.
You think New York City, Westchester, and Long Island should always have a higher minimum wage?
It's not my logic. It's the logic that they brought forward. So
it really wasn't that they brought forward. They said everybody should be $15 an hour minimum, and they said, however, it'll be a little rougher. This increase will be a little rougher on businesses upstate. So we'll gradually, and this is what the legislature asked for, we'll gradually increase the rate upstate.
Cost of living had nothing to do with it.
The cost of living had everything to do with the increase to $15 an hour.
Right, but the difference between upstate and downstate.
The difference between upstate and downstate was it's more difficult for upstate businesses. So let's gradually increase it upstate. But where the revenues seem to come easier in the city, will make that instant. And remember, this is also for companies that initially it wasn't it for, there was like, if you're a big chain store, you automatically went to $15 an hour, because there were people up here that immediately went to $15 an hour.
Yeah,
I thought it was initially like companies of 50 or more, and then 250 or more.
I think you're right. Yeah. But either way, it's always been that the minimum wage was New York's minimum wage. Now, there are those that believe that the minimum wage actually hurts people who are of lower income, because it then forces the companies that can't necessarily afford it, or they're watching their bottom line drop. They end up getting rid and working with fewer employees. So ultimately, more people end up being out of work, and that you should allow the market to determine whether the minimum wage is increased. And I've always said, you don't understand radio. And that just, to me, answers the whole thing. Radio, if you have a chance to pay the lowest possible rate, well, that's what they're going to pay. I don't know that every industry is like that, but I do think radio is pretty good with that.
I'd have to read through some of this, but some of the justifications given. I know they wanted to give upstate businesses an opportunity as well.
To catch up. That's really what that was for.
But I have to go. I'll have to go get the quotes. But obviously, there is a cost of living that, your rent that you pay in New York City is significantly more than you pay in Utica, New York.
Yeah.
And
but there was never any talk of making minimum wage different downstate permanently than upstate. Maybe that should be the case because of the cost of living. So if you can say that it's tougher for upstate businesses to make the leap to $15 an hour, so we'll give them extra time, then maybe you should just be saying the wage should be different upstate than it is downstate, I guess. On the line right now, Ben Simons. New York State farmers are facing some increases based on government regulation and overtime rates changing as well. Ben, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. So what do you think? What's happening? I mean, we talk about what's going on between downstate and upstate businesses, but the farming community is a completely different world.
That is totally correct. And I've been listening to you this morning about this minimum wage stuff, and minimum wage started out as being just like an entry-level type pay for everybody.
Right.
Not meant to be like a standard of living wage on this. And what's happening to the agriculture community is the minimum wage keeps going up, and we at the farmer level are not price setters, we're price getters, we're price receivers. And so, like when a manufacturing company or restaurants or anything of that nature, that when their costs rise, they're able to pass that on to the consumer, to the end user, to retrieve back their higher expenses, versus the farmers are not able to do that.
Yeah, you're given the price that you're given. This is what your milk is going to sell for.
Correct. Yeah. Milk, beef, all of that sort of thing. Vegetables, they're all set like at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange on exchange type thing, futures prices. And what's double whammied us here, the farm community, the agriculture community, is that back during the Cuomo days, there was a big outcry with false information coming out of New York City. And so the AFL-CIO and those type of people got after the governor and said that the farmers in upstate New York are misusing their labor force up there. And at that time, it was primarily the migrant laborers they were worried about. And so the governor Cuomo at that time put together a panel with an AFL-CIO person from down toward New York City, a person from the Rochester area that was formerly in the AFL-CIO of some sort, and the president of the New York State Farm Bureau, position for the president at that time. And so the past few years, the president of the Farm Bureau has been trying to educate those other two people on this panel to review the agriculture minimum wage and the overtime thresholds and all those things. And they all agreed that they would put a hold on it for a couple of years. So they did for the past few years. In the meantime, Farm Bureau and that committee put together a questionnaire survey, and they sent it out to all active farmers in New York State and farm labor people. And we're not talking about just migrants either here. We're talking about American farm workers, you know what I'm saying, the regular employees of farmers and migrant workers. They got a hold of the migrant worker centers that are around the state and sent out questionnaires. And my understanding is from the president of the New York Farm Bureau, Dave Fisher, is 72% of the responses that were sent out came back from workers and farmers, leave it alone. Because by moving the overtime threshold up, or down, moving it down from 60 hours on agriculture, let me clarify this for a second. Regular industry out there, anybody that works over 40 hours, then you go into overtime, time and a half. In the agriculture world, it's 60 hours, and it's been that way forever and ever and ever, as long as I can ever remember.
And you talk
now this wage board wants to move it down to the industrial 40 hours.
And you talked about how the one thing that is missing here is that weather plays a big role in this. So if you're in the farming community and the workers understand it, the farmers understand it, and that is that if you get a spell of nice sunny weather, you got to work during that time because rain is coming, so you have to put in those extra hours, right?
Exactly, Bill. And this week that we're in right now is a fine example of this.
Yeah.
If you look back last week and 10 days ago, the past 10 days, it rained almost every day.
Yeah.
So all of us farmers and all of our workers kind of been hanging in limbo, finding little odd jobs here and there around the farm and doing things of repairing equipment, just little odd jobs. Now, just listening to Hannah on Channel 2 News this morning, there is no rain in sight till next Friday.
Yeah.
And this week right here, you're going to see combines rolling and harvesting soybeans. You're going to see farmers out there cutting hay, getting in the last crops of hay. And a lot of the farmers are chopping their corn that have been fighting in the mud. So a lot of these farmers and employees are going to get their 40 hours in probably by Wednesday breakfast.
Right.
And we just got to keep rolling. We just got to push through this to get this crops off so that we can feed the people. And so there's no question that farmers, farm laborers are all going to put in 60, 70, 80 hours, probably close to 100 hours, some of them, this coming week that we're talking about between now and Friday's rain. And this is a fine example right here of this overtime threshold that's being lowered. And the other thing is it's not good for anybody involved. This legislation and this process that we're going through right now is not good for the farmer. It's not good for the employee. And it definitely is not good for the taxpayer of the state of New York. Because part of this legislation of lowering the threshold, the actual state of New York is going to pick up the tab.
Right.
And they're going to give the farmers tax credits. So if you work your employees as they lower the threshold from 2 years from now, year or two from now, down to 56 hours, the difference between the 56 hours and the 60 hours, them 4 hours, anything on overtime, the farmer's going to be able to apply to the state of New York. And the state of New York is going to reimburse the farmer either tax credits or cash in hand by 118%. The state will pay us farmers. And that's just not, it's not good for anybody involved. And the information, the surveys that came out by the farmers themselves, the actual agricultural community, laborers and farmers, said leave it alone. And the two people that voted against the Farm Bureau said, nope, we're just going to do this. They voted on an opinion, not on facts.
So what you're saying is this is going to hurt the farmers. It's going to hurt the migrant workers because they're going to end up getting less hours. It's going to, and those that end up paying the overtime, it's going to end up hurting the taxpayer.
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely correct. And the other problem we're having, we're becoming in New York to a disadvantage because the minimum wage in the states around us, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Vermont, is in the $7-8 an hour range. And those people don't have restrictions on agriculture. And I'm not saying you can find a worker for $7-8 an hour. You can't. But what's happening now is they're demanding how much we pay to these employees. And if you're paying an employee like it's going up $1 here this year, so it's going to be $14.20 in upstate New York. And then you add time and a half to that, which comes up to another $7. We're going to be paying these employees this $21 fee. And then when we get all said and done, yes, we get reimbursed for this, but it's 6 months to a year later. So the farmer is having all these high expenses in his time of operation, hoping to get these credits back. In the meantime, the labor force in New York is in that $20, $22 an hour range, and states around us are $10, $12.
Right.
So when we go to the marketplace or we sell our milk to New York and New Jersey and Washington, D.C. and Boston, Massachusetts, we're already at a disadvantage because everybody else's labor costs are cheaper than we are right here in New York.
Right. Boy, it's it's another example of the government, state government in this case, getting involved and screwing things up, it seems.
Yeah. The bottom line is that if the legislators down in New York City that control the state, we all know that argument, if they would just listen to the economies or the people that they're making legislations for, and instead of being of opinion, talk to your farmers. I'm talking about agriculture.
Right.
But reach out to, and I don't want to get in any political problems here, but we have Marianne Buttonshaw. We have Joe Griffo. We've got Brian Miller. We've got Ken Blankenbush in the North Country. If those legislators downstate really are concerned about upstate, go to your upstate legislators and say, what can we do to help you? Because what right would it be if Marianne Buttonshaw, Ken Blankenbush, Joe Griffo, Brian Miller, and them people were to make legislation up here to dictate what goes on in New York City?
Right.
It's the same mentality. It's like, guys, slow this thing down, but it's voted on an opinion and sometimes bad information.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. When does all of this go? This goes into effect at the same time the minimum wage goes up on December 31st?
No. Minimum wage is going to go up in upstate New York.
Right.
Starting, I believe it's December 31st, going to raise another $1. It's going to get to $14.20.
Yep.
And this overtime threshold business starts in, I got to go back and read the legislation, but I think it's in 24.
Okay.
So we've got 2 years to readjust our farms, and guys are going to sell out. There's no question that the face of agriculture is going to change. Like the dairy guys, probably a lot of the smaller, medium-sized farmers will go into growing crops.
Yeah, they won't be able to handle it.
Instead of the day-to-day dairy cows. And then the crop farmers, you're going to see them probably leave the business. And the ones that stay in are going to get really big, and they got to have big equipment so that in a 40-hour period, or 56 hours is what the new threshold will be, 56 hours in 2 years. And that's a concern for our highway departments, and that's a concern, as you just saw. We did a press release with the county executive, Tony Paceni, and our sheriff, Rob Mashel, of be aware and the open roads, and share the roads in Oneida County with agriculture, because we're going to have to buy bigger equipment to be more efficient, to cover the acres in the land per hour, so we can be more efficient.
Wow.
So
okay.
it's a ripple effect. What they did was really not the best thing for agriculture and upstate New York.
Well, it's just the same old problem that you're getting these decisions that are made by people who don't understand agriculture.
That's exactly right. And it frustrates me. I go to Albany every year in March and lobby with the Farm Bureau. Farm Bureau lobbies in March for budgetary issues and legislative issues. And it's like we go down there, we spend a couple of days walking the halls, knocking on doors with our adopted legislators from downstate, trying to educate them about upstate. And they all agree, oh, yeah, farmer ban, yep, I agree with that. You're totally making sense.
Yeah.
But it seems like that when it gets on the governor's desk, whether it was Mr. Cuomo or now Kathy Hochul, it seems like everything that they agreed on with us just goes right out the window.
Yep.
And I know this is going to sound funny, but I have met Mr. Delgado, our deputy governor there.
Lieutenant governor, yes.
And I've met him, and I'm hoping to be able to reach out to him in the Farm Bureau because he is from upstate New York. He's from the downstate central part, so he gets agriculture. He really does. He comes from an agricultural district. And we're going to try to reach out to him and say, hey, Anthony or Lieutenant Governor, can you slow this thing down just a little bit here because it's not really favorable for upstate. And we're going to see where that goes.
All right.
But right now it's not a good piece of legislation for the farmer, the worker, and especially the taxpayers of the state of New York, because they're going to not only go to the grocery store and buy their food, their tax dollars are also going to go to help pay for the overtime for the farm workers.
And
it's like they're getting caught double time.
Once again, something that just makes no sense whatsoever, logistically. Ben Simons, as always, we appreciate the insight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and talk to you guys soon.
All right, have a great day. Ben Simons, who is our agriculture go-to person, but doesn't it just seem that every time the government gets involved with agriculture in that industry, they have no idea what they're doing, and they only make matters worse? By the way, if you're looking at minimum wage, the minimum wage for restaurant workers will go from the New York State will go, I don't know where it is right now, but it goes to $8.80 for a cash wage for restaurant workers, and they have to be guaranteed at least a $4.40 tip. So it's basically if you're a waitress, you got to make at least $13.20 with tips, and if you don't, the employer has to make that up. You can't make below that $13.20 minimum wage. Interesting. 7:36. Christine will do an update, then we'll do our free money question of the day. Chance for you to win $106.90. As I said, we will. The question this morning is something that we actually gave the answer to sometime in the last 30 minutes. We'll get to it. 7:37 at WIBX.
Little Falls Lumber has everything you need to get your home ready for fall and winter. With colder weather coming, consider replacing your windows and doors with a more energy-efficient option. They also carry a wide variety of lumber, roofing, siding, trims, and more for your fall projects. With 3 convenient locations in Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady, Little Falls Lumber is there wherever the job takes you. Stop in today or give them a call, 315-823-2470, or visit littlefallslumber.com.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief with what's going on in the world. As we all know, global problems are having local consequences, too many of them. And if the peanut butter really hits the fan, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Now's the time to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits will ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats government food lines hands down. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Good morning, WIBX First News with Keeler in the morning news. Time is 7:38. Monday, October 3rd. Your news is brought to you by Baird Private Wealth Management, a strong financial partner for 100 years. Visit bairdoffices.com/Utica for more information. Central New York still seeing rising floodwaters days after Hurricane Ian brought massive devastation and unprecedented rainfall to the state. The National Weather Service warns the problems will continue well into this week. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden set to visit Puerto Rico today in the aftermath of Hurricane Fiona. The storm hit the island as a Category 1 storm last month and dumped historic amounts of rain. Senator Susan Collins has a dire outlook for members of Congress. The Maine Republican told the New York Times she would not be surprised if a senator or House member were killed. She pointed to an erosion of boundaries that enables violence amid a highly divisive political climate. Investors hoping October will be better than last month. They saw a lot of red ink last month with the Dow Jones Industrials closing out last week well below 29,000 for the first time since 2020. Tesla setting a new mark for vehicles delivered, but still missing Wall Street's third quarter estimates. The electric car maker reported Sunday nearly 344,000 vehicles were delivered. That's below forecasts of between 358 to 371,000. And a Native American activist who made headlines at the 1973 Oscars is dead. Sacheen Littlefeather passed away yesterday at her home in Marin County, California, at the age of 75. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Baird Private Wealth Management, a strong financial partner for 100 years. Visit bairdoffices.com/Utica for more information. We are under a frost advisory until 9 a.m. Mostly sunny otherwise with a high near 61. Partly cloudy tonight with a low around 36. Right now, 39 degrees and clear skies at 7:40.
All right, let's do our free money question of the day from the Hobeika Law Firm. Joseph and Andrew Hobeika giving up $106.90, plus a whole bunch of other goodies that can come along and serve as a consolation. Davey, we're going with caller number
3.
3 right now. Caller number 3, 315-736-0186. Great question. If you've been listening for the last, I would say even, well, at this point, 30 minutes, the answer has made its way to the airwaves already. 315-736-0186. Caller number 3. Cordelia is on the line right now. Hi, Cordelia. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling about Governor Hochul.
Yeah.
I want to call out to all the voters, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent. When she campaigned, she says, I'm an upstate New Yorker. I understand upstate. I'm from upstate New York.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand. She's just all mouth. She just wants to win another round.
Well, she's definitely been playing to the far left in New York City, right? No doubt about it.
And
because she needs them to win. Yeah.
And I was always a strong believer in annexing upstate New York from downstate New York.
Yeah.
We really got to do something like that because we're never going to get ahead. And it's a shame all the way around. But the voters, you got a choice.
All right. So you think they should vote for Lee Zeldin?
Zeldin understands upstate. Believe me, he does.
Okay. Cordelia is a woman who knows. She's done her own canvassing out there. Have you not?
Yes, I have, sir.
You've done the door-to-door job. You know what you're talking about. Okay, Cordelia, thank you for that.
Welcome.
You have a wonderful day. Thank you. Cordelia and Rome. Davey, what do we have? Who's on 2?
RV is the contestant.
RV is our contestant. He might know this one. I think RV, whether he was listening or not, may very well get this one right. RV, good morning. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. All right, you know the deal. We throw the question out. You'll have exactly 7 seconds to answer. Are you ready?
Count slow.
Okay, we'll count very slowly for you. Here is your question. In 1982, what was New York's minimum wage? Ready, go.
$2.50.
We talked about it.
You threw so many numbers out there at one time, for Christ's sake. You don't know what you did talk about.
I know. You're right. There were a lot of and of course, it's, the minimum wage there was near and dear to my heart. I was in high school.
I was making it, too. I should have known.
I was in high school, so just getting out of high school, $3.35 is where we were in 82. Well, listen, I have 72 Tavern and Grill, $25 gift card. That's back open. You got to check it out over there or go back, RV. And also, you would love to do a little laughing. We'll give you a 4-pack of tickets to Fat Cats Comedy Club. Davey's going to hook you up.
Save that for somebody else. Could you please?
Okay, good. You don't laugh. So stand by, Davey.
I laugh, but I can't get there.
Davey's going to take care of you. Either way, you work that out with him, okay?
Okay,
right,
thank you very much.
Later on, we will also give you a chance to win. We have a 4-pack of tickets to see I can't believe we're already talking about it, the Utica Comets. We have Comets tickets, Christine, to give away this morning.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already October.
Can't believe it's October. All right, a quick break, and we'll come right back. We're going to get the latest on Hurricane Ian and what Florida is going through. Evan Brown coming right up from Fox News on WIBX.
I'm Marima Smagic-Oren, candidate for Oneida County Clerk. The American dream is my American reality. I came to the United States when I was 4 years old, worked hard, and became a citizen the right way. My first home was on Brinkerhoff Ave in Cornhill. My first school was Thomas Jefferson Elementary in North Utica. I graduated from Proctor High School when I was 16, went to Albany Law School, and became a lawyer at 23. I became a lawyer because I knew that as an attorney, I could handle anything that was thrown at me. I know that as county clerk, I can handle anything that's thrown at you. I'll fight for a full-time DMV in Rome. I'll work for a better DMV in Utica. I'll put people over politics. I'll build a better Oneida County Clerk's office. That's why the Friends of Marima Smagic-Oren paid for this message. Thank you.
Earn more for every dollar saved with AmeriQ. Open a new 12-month share certificate at 2.53 APY. Save more with your credit union. Get started at ameriq.org/save today. APYs are current as of June 21st and are subject to change without notice. Minimum balance to open is $1,000. Fees may reduce earnings. Withdrawals of principal are subject to early penalties. Insured by NCUA. AmeriQ. For every day. For everything.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Hey, Davey, my screen's all messed up here. What are you telling me? Is that, you're shaking your head. What do you have?
It's not Evan Brown.
It isn't. Okay, so we're waiting on him?
Yeah.
Who's on one?
It's Donna from Yorkville. About
Donna.
Gift,
in Yorkville.
A fundraiser she's doing.
Okay, fair enough.
Donna,
Hey,
you've been
Dave.
texting me this morning. I thought we were doing this next week or something.
Hey, Davey, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, you're supposed to say no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Davey. Yeah. All right, you're welcome. Donna, good morning. What's going on?
Hi, yeah, I will be on the week before the 22nd and tell you the whole thing about
it sounds like
screening.
it sounds like you're telling us who's going to be on the show and who's not going to be on the show.
I already got the okay from Jeff.
All right, okay. Well, he makes the
But
rules.
anyway,
All right.
Anyway, today I will be over at Shinatry's from noon to 2 with the golden raffle tickets featuring the Robert Chaining 4-foot by 3-foot exclusive glitter painting of the Statue of Liberty.
Oh,
He
cool.
donated
Yeah.
it to our fundraiser, which is for Anita's Stephen Swan Humane Society. All
Nice,
money
okay.
goes to them.
All right.
And I've got 200 tickets. Well, I've got a few left, but they're $5 each, and you not only have a chance to win that wonderful glitter painting from Robert Chaining, the world-renowned glitter painter,
it's
and all the
it's
good stuff he does.
It's
but you
it's
also can
Channing.
win
Channing.
the second prize is a Hot Wheels
Channing.
package
Yep.
from the Hot Wheels King Mike Zarnak, and
All right, he's
a
cool.
$25 gift card for Price Chopper from CNY Comic Archives.
What is this all? And you're raising money for the Stephen Swan? Humane
Yep, Anita
Society?
Stephen Swan. Yep.
Okay. All right. And it's
Yep.
Channing, Robert Channing,
Yeah,
not Chaining.
Channing.
How do you say it again?
Channing?
Yeah, that's good. Earlier you were like Chaining. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe I
was
just misheard.
Probably because I'm pulling the dog while he's He's,
fair
tried to
enough.
phone me.
All right, so
Yeah.
you'll be at Shenantries.
Shenantries, yep, noon to 2, right there when you walk in. You'll see. I'm going to bring the picture, actually.
Donna,
the portrait will be with me.
Donna, it's Shenantries. That's how it's pronounced. Okay.
I got a weird Boston thing going or something.
I don't know what's happening this morning. It's crazy. All right, sounds good. You'll be there all day today?
No, noon to 2.
Sorry.
Noon to 2.
Noon to 2. Fair enough. All right.
Noon to 2.
Cool.
Yep. And it's for the Anita Stephen Swan Humane Society.
All right,
and
awesome.
The drawing will be on October 22nd after the Screaming Nurse show at Nothing Fancy.
Okay, cool. All right,
So
Donna.
it'll be about 8:30 or so. We'll
Beautiful.
be picking the winner.
Well, they'll be out
And they
looking.
don't have to be present to win.
Okay, do not have to be present, and they'll be looking for you this afternoon. Fair enough.
Oh yeah, noon
Okay.
to 2, Shenantries.
Shenantries. Okay,
French
beautiful.
Road.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
wonderful
I
day.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
She will be on next week, Jeff. She will be on next week. I hope you got that hint. All right, what are you discovering, Jeff? You've gone into the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I kind of have to just acknowledge it now. You're in the rabbit hole.
Yes, because
on the minimum wage rabbit hole.
I specifically remember this was part of the conversation when it happened. Okay, and I don't see something that explicitly says it other than that. This is the article I
Okay,
read
you
that
got.
best
I mean,
says
for
it.
those that weren't listening, you got to do a little explanation.
All right, essentially, we got into a conversation about minimum wage and how it is going up again upstate, and that there was a staggered minimum wage.
It was $15 instantly in New York, in the
Yep.
city, Westchester, and on Long Island. And in upstate, since 2016, we've been going up about $1 each year. And this year we'll be reaching actually $14.20.
Yeah, 14.20, and New York City will remain at 15, but there is legislation that would jack up New York City's alone, not the states, just New York City's. All right, so I think this article kind of explains it well, and this is on the new bill. New legislation proposed by Bronx Assembly member LaToya Joyner and Queens Senator Jessica Ramos, both Democrats, calling for a gradual minimum wage increase, with the city's current minimum wage of $15 would increase to $17 on January 1st of 2023, so this coming year. It would go to $20.45 by 2025. For Long Island and Westchester, the minimum wage would increase to from 15 to 16, with future increases to $17.95 by 2025. Upstate New York's minimum wage would increase from $13.20 to $14.20, with increases of $15.75 by 2025. So again, in the second,
We're already going this year, or at the end of this year, we go to $14.20.
low pay was the number one reason people quit their jobs, according to the Pew Research poll. The state legislature passed a scale in 2016 to increase the minimum wage throughout New York over the next several years, first hitting $15 an hour in New York City at the end of 2018 for large employers. According to labor research, to live comfortably in the city, a resident would need to earn at least $11,355 a month before taxes. For those residing in the more affordable borough of the Bronx, workers need to earn 3 times that, $1,800 monthly rent rate for taxes, which amounts to $5,400 per month. So
But I think the part that's being missed here is a minimum wage is not intended to be something that is a family wage, that something you're going to be making for the rest of your. Hopefully, you're working at a place where, especially today, where it's extremely competitive to hire people, that you would end up taking a job that pays more than minimum wage. Chances are, if you're making minimum wage, you might actually be you might actually be living at home. You're a kid. I do understand that in a lot of cases it doesn't work out that way, and you have a family of 3 trying to live off minimum wage jobs. That does happen.
Yeah. So, and again, just think back to this, because I remember the sound clips they would be playing this, and Rush would be countering the Democrat arguments by saying certain things. All right, listen. I completely agree. Nobody should strive to be in a minimum wage job. But people were talking about, legislators were talking about, people go to work and they work 60 hours a week and they can't even pay their bills. And other people were saying, well, yeah, you shouldn't strive to, the top of your career should not be making Big Macs at McDonald's, right? Because it's all this fast food worker stuff.
Right,
but there is also a recognition that some of these people are mothers and fathers who have children and trying to, and they've got to get to and from work, and they've got to pay rent, et cetera, et cetera. So while it is mentioned, it is not specifically, explicitly laid out as a justification. But so let me ask you this. Nowhere in this article or this memo from this legislator talks about protecting upstate businesses. She's a downstate lawmaker.
Right.
She's raising it because people down there, because now everybody makes $15 an hour.
I just don't understand what the argument is. What are we talking about? What is the so you feel there should be two different minimum wages, one for upstate, one for
keep saying me. I don't feel this way.
Well,
this was the justification, or one of the reasons given when they did this to stagger it. Businesses were part of it, but also a recognition
but if that were the case, then they would have had a permanent differential, and they didn't. They just did it would take it'll be instantly in New York City, Westchester, and Long Island, and then it would go incrementally for upstate businesses because it would to allow for a little bit of the leeway for upstate New York businesses because they don't bring in the same type of money that New York City or Westchester businesses bring in. But why then didn't they just say there's an upstate minimum wage and a downstate minimum wage?
Well, why are they doing it this way again? They don't talk about businesses needing to be protected. They talk about how much it costs for rent in New York City. That's their
right.
When these lawmakers are bringing this forward,
I understand,
they're
but
saying,
but most of these lawmakers are also businessmen.
With this argument, I'm confused by it. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think anybody's
it's all a
disagreeing.
given. Everything you're talking about is a given. Everything you're talking about is already understood and a given. I don't understand why we're talking about it.
We talked about it earlier. You went back to it. I just went and I've looked up some.
I can see you're in the middle of it. You've gone in and you're reading articles while the show is going on. So I'm saying there's stuff happening. I'd rather talk about it than not talk about it. Christine?
No, I don't think anyone's disagreeing that people need more money, right? I think the issue is these lawmakers are also business folks, and when they go back to their districts, they're talking to businessmen. The issue is that the businesses, and you alluded to this, Bill, that businesses need more time because it's not as simple as, okay, we raise the minimum wage to just say, for argument's sake, $20 an hour, and our employees get $20 an hour. Now the businesses are also paying $20 an hour worth of unemployment insurance,
right?
Workers' compensation, like all of those things. Your wages directly impact the amount of business taxes that you pay, and by taxes I mean fees.
But they must have concluded that it was easier for a New York City business to pay that than it is for an upstate New York business, right?
Right.
Yep.
So, but I think that's been a part of it all along. So the only thing I can conclude by your argument is there should be a different upstate versus downstate based on if there was there was a need to have an incremental increase for upstate New York businesses and employees. If the need existed, then there should be two different minimum wage. Right?
You're asking if that's my opinion?
Yeah,
Or-
I mean, I'm saying that's how you would conclude it. It kind of doesn't make any sense.
So, yeah, I think you guys are both absolutely right. I'm just going to tell you what these two Democrats said. They're calling for a gradual increase that's staggered by state and area. They're doing it again for a second time. Now, they didn't say it's in perpetuity forever.
Right.
But, so New York City would be $20.45 by 2025. What region is this? Westchester and Long Island would be $17.95. So there's a $3 difference per hour. $2.50 difference per hour there. And upstate would stay at $14.20 and increase to $15.75 by 2025. So there's a $5. Is that $5 or $4.75? There's a $4.70 difference effective 2025. That's just to protect businesses. That's not a factoring of the cost of living upstate and downstate.
I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that it's not the case. I completely agree. What I'm saying is if there's a need for an incremental increase, then there must be a need for something permanent, a differential between what businesses and employees can earn in upstate New York versus in the city. That's all I'm saying. But I think that was not a part of it. But you say that there are legislators in the city that are taking it from their end, that are looking at that businesses can earn more in the city than they can upstate, right? Sounds like even in the city, in the boroughs, they understand that. But I'm not sure the entire legislature understands it. We'll break. Take your comments, 315-736-0186. A ton more that we have to get to, and maybe even a little more minimum wage. I don't know. But we'll find out. Coming up at WIBX.
William Attar, for the win. Insurance companies make more money by paying you less. You've been seriously injured in a car crash, so why should you settle for less money than you deserve? At William Attar, we've handled thousands of serious injury claims. There are short time deadlines, so call now. Hurt in a car? Call William Attar, 315-444-4444. Main Street, Williamsville, South State Street, Syracuse.
WIBX 950, Utica, Rome.
They could still find more bodies. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. So far, there are at least 61 deaths in Florida after Hurricane Ian hit. As crews keep going through the devastation, State Representative Spencer Roach tells Fox Business.
We are still evacuating people off of our barrier islands. This is the first time in really 60 years that we have not had a bridge that can connect us to those islands where we still have people on.
Pine Island is one of those places where hundreds were rescued yesterday.
Pine Island has only been accessible by boat and helicopter after the ways in were destroyed by Ian. And today work will begin actually to create a temporary bridge to Pine Island to help get supplies in and people out.
That's Fox's Alexandria Hoff, and also hit Fort Myers. About 600,000 homes and businesses still without power in Florida. Some don't have water or sewer. There have been long lines at gas stations. President Biden will go to Florida Wednesday. Today, Fox's Gernal Scott reports he'll go to another disaster area.
The president and first lady will fly down today to survey the ongoing recovery effort in Puerto Rico, which was heavily damaged by Hurricane Fiona. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell said on CBS Face the Nation she will be on that trip.
To talk to people firsthand with him and make sure, right? We just want to make sure that we are giving them everything that they need.
And Supreme Court's new term starts today with new Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, its first case related to the Clean Water Act.
But there are other critical cases on the calendar, including two that could result in an end to affirmative action on public and private college campuses. Two other cases pertain to elections. One is a challenge to North Carolina's redistricting and whether gerrymandering violated the state constitution. Another case out of Alabama alleges the redrawing of congressional districts violated the Voting Rights Act.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal, a Swedish scientist, has won the Nobel Prize for Medicine. Svante Pabo honored for his work on human evolution. They'll hand out prizes all week in different categories. America's listening to Fox News.
Help the Tunnel to Towers Foundation do good and never forget the sacrifices of America's heroes. Heroes like Misotis Familia, who couldn't wait to join the NYPD to protect her community. She proudly wore her uniform, but was ambushed and shot in the head in the line of duty solely for the uniform she wore. She is survived by 3 children who received a mortgage-free home from Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Good Monday morning. WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 8:03, 39 degrees, clear skies. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you this morning by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. An Oneida County man under arrest facing multiple charges after an alleged domestic incident on Sunday. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office says several police agencies were called to a home in Remsen for a domestic dispute in progress. 32-year-old Christian C. Rodriguez was taken into custody and brought to Oneida County Correctional. A Brewerton man arrested twice in 1 week after allegedly breaking into an abandoned gas station and then burning it down by mistake as he was trying to get warm. Firefighters say the building is a total loss. No injuries were reported. 32-year-old Kevin Summers was arrested last week as well for allegedly grabbing the steering wheel of a car while he was a passenger in it, causing the car to crash and the driver to be hospitalized. He's now facing charges in both cases. A Herkimer County man under arrest facing charges after allegedly frightening a woman and interfering with her ability to do her job. Police say 60-year-old Martin Monk from Stark, New York, repeatedly contacted the O&D Young school employee. He's now facing several charges. You can read that full story on the WIBX app. The New York State Department of Labor moving forward with a plan to lower the threshold for overtime on farmers across the state. Farm workers in New York are currently paid their flat or regular rate for 60 hours of work, not getting overtime pay until it is hour 61 and beyond. You can read that full story as well as some reaction at WIBX950.com. 2 people, including a teenager, hospitalized after being shot in Syracuse. Police say that a 13-year-old and 20-year-old were hit by gunfire last night. Both were brought to the hospital to be treated for injuries police say are non-life-threatening. Well, because of the spread of COVID in central New York, the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is now recommending residents in 2 central New York counties wear masks to avoid getting sick. Coronavirus levels, they say, are considered to be high in Onondaga and Oswego counties. Masking recommendations are based on several factors, including hospital capacity, COVID hospitalizations, and new cases. As of the last report, the region's 7-day average infection rate is just under 11%, and we are close to that in Oneida and Madison counties as well. No word yet on whether that mask recommendation will be extended to other counties. Central New York drivers still paying less at the pump to fill up their vehicles following another drop in gas prices. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular now sits at $3.65 a gallon. That's down 10 cents in the past week and 48 cents in the past month. And no Powerball jackpot winner in weeks. Lottery players hoping that changes tonight. After Saturday's jackpot went unclaimed, the prize ahead of tonight's drawing has grown to at least $336 million. That will certainly make it feel a little bit warmer than what it is right now. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by the Frigo Agency. They want to be your insurance people. Call 797-8080, visit them online, or stop in and see them on Route 12B in New Hartford. We are under a frost advisory until 9 o'clock this morning. Mostly sunny today with a high near 61 degrees. Patchy frost tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low around 36. More frost begins the day on Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high near 63 and partly cloudy Tuesday night with a low around 40 degrees. Remember, you can always find your full 5-day forecast right here on WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM. 39 degrees, clear skies, WIBX. First News with Keeler in the morning news time is 8:06. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
All right, thank you, Christine. The Mets swept 3 games this weekend by the Atlanta Braves, and they drop into second place in the National League East. Just 3 games to go in the regular season. Looks like the Mets will be holding on to a wild card spot when the playoffs get underway. The Yankees, meanwhile, dropped their series finale to the Baltimore Orioles, a final of 5-3 on Sunday. Football this weekend. Some sad news at the Jets game in Pittsburgh. New York Post reporting a football fan died as he fell from an escalator inside Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh on Sunday evening. It happened shortly before 5 p.m. Paramedics attempted to render life-saving aid to the man, but he did pass away from his injury. Now, this comes less than 3 months after a man fell from an escalator rail inside of the Philadelphia Eagles Lincoln Financial Field during a performance from musician The Weeknd in mid-July. Police at the time said the man's death appeared to be accidental. Same situation here in this Pittsburgh death. The Jets did get a win, 24-20, rallying in the fourth quarter for a come-from-behind win. They're now 2-2 on the season. The Giants dealing with some injuries to their quarterbacks. Daniel Jones rolled his ankle. Tyrod Taylor then came in, scrambled for a first down, and appeared to suffer concussion. He had to leave the game. Daniel Jones came back in, and the Giants did hold on, for a 20-12 victory over the Chicago Bears. And the Buffalo Bills rallied after falling behind early 20-3 to the Baltimore Ravens. They rally for a walk-off. Can you walk off in football? 20-3.
Well, they did, and they completely manipulated the clock to do so. which was awesome.
Bills got a first down, and then the scramble for Josh Allen was to try to get the first down but not fall into the end zone, and he was able to do that, and they were able to run it all the way down.
I'm surprised that, that Baltimore didn't pick him up and try to drag him across the line because they saw what was going on. They clearly were, every move was to stay away from that goal line, but to keep get that first down. New York Post today, Mets stars wilt in biggest moments as disastrous no-show proves costly for the Mets. Jeff McNeil is the only one who really showed up and has since 2016 and might actually win a batting title for it. McNeil, every time he came to bat, was a gamer. Everybody else failed, however, according to the Post. And I think they're right. Start with DeGrom, Scherzer, and Chris Bassett. Probably Scherzer and DeGrom with their worst performances in the last week and a half.
Oh, there's no question.
And Bassett yesterday. The most important series in 6 years, the trio went meh, worse, and awful. They called up perhaps the majors, the best prospect in Francisco Alvarez, who went 8 for 8 in swinging at first pitches and 0 for 8 in full at-bats.
Yeah.
They brandished 2 near certain top 10 and National League MVP finishers in Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor, who were thoroughly outproduced by their counterparts on Atlanta's side. The Mets arrived at the park knowing if they swept 3 games, they would win the entire division. They lost 3 games and are now 2 games back with 3 games to play, almost certainly losing the pennant. They will go to the playoffs, but as a wild card, which means they're going to have to play that whole – there'll be no break, no chance to get healthy, none of that. They would have had a week off.
And they can still win the pennant. That's the
I
National
guess the
League.
pennant, the National League,
Yep.
so the National League East title. Yes.
Yeah, it looks like Atlanta steals it. And I think when this is all said and done now, I'm going to assume here the next 3 days Atlanta holds on to the division. I think they will have led the division for a total.
Do you realize that
7
if
days.
the Mets could have won 1 out of 3, we would be tied at the top, and these next 3 games would be meaning absolutely everything. But instead, they are 2 games down. It's just unbelievable.
And what did they say about McNeil? He's been what? He's been
McNeil
great
has been a gamer through
since 2016.
Yeah, and he really has.
Any coincidence? That's also the year they raised the minimum wage.
It could
in New
be.
York?
It could be. It could be. He's now making $15 an hour. Mike and Skyler. Hello, Mike. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I wanted to share with you guys. I took a little day trip yesterday. Drove up with my girlfriend up to Fly Creek Cider Mill.
The
Ever been
Fly
there?
Creek Cider Mill,
Near
yeah.
Cooperstown?
Yes. Yeah.
Very good.
It was nice. It's my first time there.
Well,
Never been
and
there.
yesterday was a beautiful day too, right? So it had to be
It
nice
was
with the
perfect.
water and the creek and the geese and
Got to feed the
you know.
ducks and everything up, and being that close to Cooperstown, we went to the Hall of Fame. She's never been there.
Cool.
So we went to the Hall of Fame. Have you guys been there in a while? It's been a while.
It's been a few years for me. Yeah.
So going there, I guess one of the areas there's like a big screen and it shows like the different highlights and everything. You actually can click it and control the.
Yeah, I think the interactive
things.
stuff has really increased
Yeah.
over the years. Yep. Yeah.
And also when we were there, so now it's kind of neat because I'm a big Yankee fan.
Yeah. Sure.
So we had a picture right next to because Yankees, there's 27 championships, and actually I met her 27 years ago, which was kind of neat because with that. And the thing I'm good with the retired numbers for the Yankees, and I never realized this, but she actually pointed this out. Aaron Judge's number on the shirt, which is 99.
Yeah.
Roger Maris's number was 9.
So you like the 9 connection? Scott Flansburgh
isn't
would
that
love this
something? I never
conversation.
thought about that. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And Manaski was all about the fact that there was 61 in 1961, and it's been 61 years since then, and Judge breaks the record. I mean, that's pretty coincidental as well, right?
That's right. And it was funny. I'm the big Yankee fan, but she pointed out, I didn't even thought about that with the numbers too. And I thought it'd be kind of neat if he actually had a home run when we were at the Hall of Fame, but he didn't.
You know that they both actually have 2588 on their license plates. Maris, his license plate on his 1960 Chevrolet was 2588, ended in 2588. And judges, by all coincidence.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's not true. But still, it would be something if it was, wouldn't it?
True. That's funny.
Anyway. All right there, Mike. Cool. Thank you, man.
You're welcome. You take care.
Have a wonderful day. That would be
You too.
something if it was, right? I mean, that would be a pretty amazing coincidence.
It would be, but yeah, we had talked about this before. The numbers in baseball sometimes are just fascinating. You're like, how is that possible?
How is that coincidence possible? And I believe it's the rule for being, once you become a meteorologist, you go to college, I guess, to be a meteorologist, to be able to give the weather. The rule is every first day of a month, especially when the seasons change, you must do this.
Everyone. Today is Saturday, October 1st. Can you believe it? Already October.
Every meteorologist must say, can you believe it? It's already October.
They have to say it, too, with that...
excitement, yes.
But almost like they caught them off guard. They're kind of a little dry in the mouth. Like,
oh, my God.
September?
I
October?
cannot believe it. By the way, Michael this morning says, I think tomorrow you should say, I can't believe it's June 23rd. Well, don't, because it's not. So maybe we'll run with that. I don't think we're going to catch anybody off guard. Jared Halpern standing by right now from Fox News. The new Supreme Court session with a new justice getting ready to get underway here. And, Jared, some big cases they'll be looking at.
Yeah, there's a really important one today, and it's not the first time that the court has sort of weighed in on this, and it deals with the Environmental Protection Agency and the Clean Water Act and what constitutes as a wetland as it relates to sort of developing. And you have this family from Idaho that has tried to develop land that it owns, but the EPA has deemed it a wetland, which limits what you can do with that property.
Right.
And so the Supreme Court is, again, going to try and figure out here sort of what constitutes a wetland, what is the authority of the EPA here. And, you know, it's easy to sort of look at this in sort of the kind of narrow view, right, about, you know, this is specific to the Clean Water Act. But one thing that the Supreme Court has really wrestled with, I would argue over the last several years, is how to adjudicate these agencies that have been granted an awful lot of power from Congress. So Congress kind of passes a law, in this case the Clean Water Act. It sets up a enforcement regime through the EPA, and then the EPA has a lot of broad authority. And there are complaints about, well, you know, the law wasn't intended to give this authority to, in this case, the EPA, but this applies to all kinds of federal agencies.
Right.
And so that's one of the things that this Supreme Court is probably going to wrestle with. Now, I think that you're going to see that this case is pretty narrowly tailored to the specifics in front of them, the EPA and the Clean Water Act. But it'll be interesting, I think, to see if it offers any guidance, if this court offers any guidance on sort of the administrative state and the role that these agencies play when they are, you know, sort of given an awful lot of discretion because of Congress.
And don't you feel like this kind of hits home a little bit with the health department, especially coming off COVID, the actual power that these departments had, and not just federally, but around the country and individual states, the power they had during COVID.
I mean, that's why I say it. I don't think they're going to get into all of that with this case.
Yeah.
Generally, the Supreme Court sort of looks at the facts in front of them and tries to adjudicate that issue. But,
well, and they did uphold the decisions at the time during the pandemic that states and the federal government were implementing.
Now, again, I think that there's a larger debate about, you know, the role that these administrative agencies should hold over Congress and things like that. But again, if Congress gives an agency this authority, then the agency has this authority, right?
Right.
And so that's, I guess, a different discussion. But I think you're right. This speaks to sort of these ongoing disputes that have arisen because you have an agency like the EPA or like HHS or like the FDA that has said, listen, the law says that we have to, that we are the adjudicators here, not Congress, not the courts. And so that's why cases like this have sort of been going on for years. And I mean, to a smaller, not a smaller extent, it's a big deal for the family. But, you know, there are sometimes pretty pricey fines that can arise from violating these rules that are put in place by agencies, $40 a day in some cases.
And it can also cost people the opportunity to generate income off the property that they thought they were, that they owned, that they could generate income. And this is probably a specific case there. How will the court differ? Probably the same, or how do you see it with the new justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, replacing Stephen Breyer?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think it's right. You still have largely a 6-3 court, at least when you look at it through the political lens of, which president appointed who. So from that sense, it probably doesn't bring about any sort of ideological shift. Now, obviously, this new Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, is a different justice. She brings with her new ideas. She brings with her a different background. And that's always interesting, I think, to see how new justices kind of interact, how active they are right from the get-go. I recall when Justice Neil Gorsuch joined the court, he was pretty active right away, sort of immediately taking part in oral arguments and asking questions and jumping in. And sometimes that happens, and sometimes justices lay back a little bit and sort of get a feel for the room. Now, I think to the benefit of Judge Jackson, she's actually been on the
right.
Because of the way that she was confirmed and then Breyer resigning. So she has been at least, going to these conferences and getting to meet her colleagues now for a few months. So she's got that benefit, I think. Maybe she'll be a little bit more comfortable than, sort of the first day of school feeling. But today will be her first oral arguments, and it'll be interesting, I think, to sort of see how that goes. The Supreme Court's usually a pretty congenial group. There's only the 9 of them.
Right.
And, for all of the talk that we give about, these 5-4 decisions or these 6-3 decisions and these closely held decisions, the majority of cases are not that. The majority of issues that arise to the Supreme Court are generally fairly unanimous, right? And these justices generally get along. Obviously, there was a lot made about the relationship between Justice Scalia and Justice Ginsburg, right? That they were opera buddies and had dinner every week. And so it'll be interesting, I think, to see what that dynamic and how her relationships build with her new colleagues.
It's going to be hard to top the fireworks that we saw last session, don't you think?
Well, I mean, that's the other question about this term, right? I mean, there was an awful lot of reporting that suggested that there was unusual animosity and distrust that built among the justices, not with the decision in the abortion case, but with the leak, right?
Right.
That was just an unprecedented breach of Supreme Court protocol. And you had clerks that were under suspicion, and you had justices that were sort of trying to figure this out. And I think it's going to take some time for that to resolve itself. And you're right, that is a new dynamic now in sort of the relationship. Clerks work with it. Remember that the Supreme Court is a tight-knit group. You have just a handful of clerks, and they all work well together. And if they can't trust each other, that's going to impact the work. And you saw that last term, I should say, in sort of the way that decisions came out pretty late. That's unusual, and some of that is thought to have been because there was some unease about sharing opinions and sort of the way that these opinions are written with the other justices and clerks.
No doubt. We were told that they would find the person responsible, and that still has not happened. Really interesting. Jared Halpern, thank you so much as always. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Have a great day. Jared Halpern from Fox News. Want to tell you that if you're looking for a job, Steve Pani Mazda, they are growing at an incredible pace, and they're proud to be offering more opportunities for careers at Steve Pani Mazda. Salespeople, service technicians, and the list goes on. If you're a talented salesperson or a talented service technician looking for a career in an atmosphere that's enjoyable with a dealership that represents the award-winning Mazda lineup of vehicles, something that Ricky Z always talks about, how they have achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, then maybe you should apply right now. Call the family-owned and operated Steve Pani Mazda and apply today and become a part of the Steve Pani Mazda team. Steve Pani Mazda, Commercial Drive, Yorkville, where it's always easy to do business at Steve Pani Mazda.
Sometimes my inner me wishes it could have a do-over. I mean, I wish I'd traveled more. I wish I'd never cut my bangs. I even wish I hadn't chosen the bank I did.
Well, some do-overs are easier than others. You should make the switch to Adirondack Bank. They're a local bank with friendly people and competitive products. I just opened a hometown checking account. There's no fees or minimum balances, and I even get online banking and mobile banking.
Well, switching to Adirondack Bank really does sound like the do-over I need. Oh, but I still wish I'd never gotten that spring break tattoo.
That one is harder to fix.
Make the switch and open your hometown checking account today. There's a minimum deposit of $25 to open the account. Visit your local branch or online at adkbank.com for more information. Member FDIC.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief with what's going on in the world. As we all know, global problems are having local consequences. Too many of them. And if the peanut butter really hits the fan, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Now's the time to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits will ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats government food lines hands down. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
If you are push mowing your yard using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated welded steel decks. Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamp decks from the big box stores. Come see Warner Sales and Service, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Check out the Hustler line of mowers at Warner Sales and Service, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona, or at WarnerSS.com. That's WarnerSS.com. Warner Sales and Service, where quality still counts.
Warner Sales and Service. Building relationships, building trust. Warner Sales and Service. Warner's, where quality still counts. At Warner's.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high-quality, solid-built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship, Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations. Smith Brothers is a solid and dependable brand who provide innovative furniture design with every piece. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. We would love for you to come and browse our extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. 315-738-7817.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to get conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you'll be speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 8:30. Christine has an update coming up in a second. The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And you can try, it's October now, I think it's official. You can have the pumpkin spice latte, right? They have lattes at Daylight. I think you could have it year-round there, to be honest with you, at Daylight. But it's that season. And Daylight Donuts, they have about 10 to 15 different flavors of delicious lattes. Or you can enjoy your coffee the way Manaski enjoys his. Seattle's best.
Yes, I love it just plain. Very good.
Do nothing with it. Nothing at all.
Just consume it.
I notice it's interesting how you're wording it that way now, and that's good. So.
Well, no,
I like it plain.
I didn't. No, because I had made the joke one time. You had asked me how I like my coffee, and because you were talking about an iced coffee, but I want a context here. I had made, you always every day. How do you like it? I drink it black. I don't like any cream, no sugar, just black. And you had done a whole thing on the iced coffee, and you said, well, how do you like your coffee? And I said, just like I like my women, hot. And it was a little curveball.
It was.
And
caught me off guard.
Whether it's got cream, sugar, I just don't like it cold. I just don't like the coffee cold. I can do it with a little cream or sugar, but I prefer it without.
There are many purists who enjoy their coffee with just nothing at all. And I think when you hear them talk about it, oftentimes they'll say it might not have been easy in the very beginning, but it's just how I drank it, and I drank it that way, and it has become something that I enjoy. Would you be fair to say?
I'm in that camp as well. First time I ever had coffee, it was like from one of my parents.
Like,
you get the shiver, but the first time I had it, it was loaded up with that creamer. You know, that it tastes like a candy bar when you have it. You're like, wow, coffee's great. And then you have just plain coffee, and there's a little bit of an adjustment from if you have that real sweet tooth. But I love it that way now.
An acquired taste.
I prefer
and you love it. But many people enjoy their coffee that way. Seattle's Best is a delicious coffee. It's the official coffee of Daylight Donuts, which is the official coffee of right here at this radio program. Make all the sense in the world. Christine, it's 2 weeks from tonight, and you'll never guess what happens. It's already that time. It's hockey time.
Exciting.
Exciting. Utica Comets open up at the Adirondack Bank Center, and we're 4.5 weeks away from the Nexus Center opening. So you'll have Comets action going on while there are tournaments going on next door at the Nexus. It's going to be a very interesting development downtown.
Friday was quite interesting downtown. Driving around, they had that Lax 9 tournament going on. And I don't know if part of the increased traffic had to be from that event, but they also had a single lane. They had it diverting into a single lane headed eastbound on Oriskany Street, and I got stuck down there for 15 minutes. It was a disaster.
The last 2 weekends, there have been, remember, Nexus is not even open yet. The last 2 weekends, the hotel capacity in Utica has been sold out the last 2 weekends.
That's great for
Pretty
the economy,
interesting, right? What's it going to be when all of a sudden these people are coming in for Nexus?
There was also a paving going on Genesee Street, and I know you got to get something else, but that kind of slowed things down heading into the weekend and part of the weekend as well.
So the fact that we have hockey 2 weeks away, to celebrate that, we're going to give you a chance to win a 4-pack of Comets tickets. Utica Comets tickets, 4-pack. We'll give away a 4-pack every day, and I'm going to do that right after Christine's news. I'll tell you how you can win. If you're a fan of hockey, this should be simple and easy. We'll get to it coming right up. Christine with news now at 8:34.
And your news is brought to you by Baird Private Wealth Management, a strong financial partner for 100 years. Visit bairdoffices.com/Utica. That's BAIRD. 40 degrees, sunny skies. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 90 seconds. Central Florida still seeing rising floodwaters days after Hurricane Ian brought massive devastation and unprecedented rainfall to the state. The National Weather Service warns the problems will continue well into this week. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden set to visit Puerto Rico today in the aftermath of Hurricane Fiona. The storm hit the island as a Category 1 storm last month and dumped historic amounts of rain on the island. As of Sunday, more than 100,000 customers were still without power. Senator Susan Collins has a dire outlook for members of Congress. The Maine Republican told the New York Times she, quote, wouldn't be surprised if a senator or House member were killed. End quote. She pointed to an erosion of boundaries that enables violence amid a highly divisive political climate. Investors hoping that this month will be better than last. They saw a lot of red ink last month. The Dow Jones Industrials closed out last week below 29,000 for the first time since 2020. August inflation data came in hotter than expected, which did not help things at all. Tesla setting a new mark for vehicles delivered, but still missing Wall Street's third quarter estimates. The electric car maker reported nearly 344,000 vehicles were delivered. That's well below forecasts of 358 to 371,000. It was still a big turnaround from earlier this year when a shutdown at its China factory impacted how many vehicles Tesla could get to customers. And a Native American activist who made headlines at the 1973 Oscars is dead. Sacheen Littlefeather passed away yesterday at her home in Marin County, California, at the age of 75. It came just weeks after she received an apology for the Academy Awards from how she was treated nearly 50 years ago. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by the Frigo Agency. They want to be your insurance people. Call 797-8080. Visit them online or stop in and see them on Route 12B in New Hartford. Widespread frost this morning. We're still technically under a frost advisory until 9 o'clock. Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 61 degrees. More patchy frost tonight. Partly cloudy with a low around 36. Frost on Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high near 63. Partly cloudy Tuesday night with a low around 40 degrees. And we are at 40 degrees right now. Sunny skies, WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 8:36.
Okay, let me say that we'll start giving away some Comets tickets coming right up here before we get to 9 o'clock. And it's going to be pretty simple. There'll be hockey questions. Easy. And some will be easy. Some will be more difficult than others. Some will be God-blessed simple. It just depends on your luck of the draw. So you call in. I throw the question at you. If you can answer it, you win a 4-pack of tickets to see the Utica Comets. And they open up 2 weeks from tonight. We'll do that coming up. Also, are the cornflakes you're feeding your kids or grandkids or yourself, are they actually good for you? We'll get to that. 8:37 at WIBX.
Little Falls Lumber has everything you need to get your home ready for fall and winter. With colder weather coming, consider replacing your windows and doors with a more energy-efficient option. They also carry a wide variety of lumber, roofing, siding, trims, and more for your fall projects. With 3 convenient locations in Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady, Little Falls Lumber is there wherever the job takes you. Stop in today or give them a call, 315-823-2470, or visit littlefallslumber.com.
John Calabrese. Is your company looking to hire qualified, dependable employees but unsure of where to look? Let Express Employment Professionals take on the recruitment and hiring process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started. Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to get conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you'll be speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right. Okay, Joe, I'm going to take you quickly. And first, one of the reasons why there may have been traffic delays in downtown Utica over the weekend has, Joe has information. Joe, what do you know?
Yeah. What it was Fred Burrows passed away from Fred Burrows Trucking in Oriskany.
Okay.
And they had a funeral procession with 100 trucks.
Wow.
They went from Oriskany down Oriskany Boulevard to Utica and then to Crown Hill Cemetery on Paris Hill.
Okay. Wow, that had to be something to see.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Longtime business owner and really, a business owner like that, which means if there's a contractor or you're having work done or stuff done at your property or business, there's a good chance that Burroughs was somewhat involved.
Yes, that's right. He was a great guy.
Yep. All right, Joe, thanks for that update. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day.
I got stuck in.
And he said over 100.
Yeah, that's not only did they have the lane narrowing or 2 lanes going down to 1, but I got stuck in that and didn't move for a little bit. And then you had traffic coming off the side streets trying to get onto Oriskany, whether you call it Oriskany Boulevard or Oriskany Street. I did a lot of going, did I really have to come down? Why didn't I just wait till tomorrow?
And then you're thinking about, how do I get out of here? Could I back up? Is there another route? I'll be coming down. I always look when I'm coming down, if I'm going, it'd be west or coming south on 12, right? You're coming down. You come around the corner there where you could get off in Utica at the Odd, or you can keep going to the arterial. And then there's that exit to the right that you could take that is now called the Brewery Arts District.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look carefully, you can see over the bridge a little bit. If there's traffic lined up, I immediately dart off that theater district exit because you can kind of cut around. Because sometimes if there's an accident or something going on, you'll sit there for several minutes on the arterial.
What I did,
I hate that.
After getting,
we don't wait for things up here.
No, we don't. And I thought about that too. We don't have traffic, and I hope this isn't the beginning of it. But that funeral, I think, contributed to it immensely. The funeral procession.
Yeah.
The other thing was, after getting stuck in it, heading into Utica, coming from like the Whitesboro area, on the way back, I started to get stuck in it again, and I said, "Well, forget this. I'm going to make this little right-hand turn. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go behind the Odd. I'm going to come up on the other side, and all these cars are going to be sitting here waiting, and I'm just going to go right around them." And I made the turn. I went down there, and it said road closed because they had the Lax Night tournament going on, so you couldn't get around.
You couldn't even get around.
So I had to go up a side street and wait even longer.
Yeah. Never works out. It was quite a long time ago that Will and John Kellogg created cornflakes. They were attempting to create a digestible yet affordable and profitable breakfast meal for middle Americans. The question are cornflakes, is this a healthy option for breakfast? And Betty Murray is a nutritionist who is on the line right now. Betty, good morning.
Good morning.
Can I guess? I would guess, and see if I'm wrong here. This will be my little quiz. I don't know what you'll give me if I win. I hope it's something good. But if I guessed, I would guess that cornflakes are healthy. But what we do with cornflakes can oftentimes make them less healthy.
So, unfortunately, I would say you're wrong. So, we know that the American population, we have a obesity and diabetes epidemic, and really what's playing into that is the intake of processed carbohydrates, which cereal would be considered one of them.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at the Kellogg's cornflakes, almost all of the content is void of fiber. So that means as soon as you eat those cornflakes, they're going to hit your bloodstream, and then they're going to be turned into sugar very, very quickly. So cornflakes are really not a health food.
So that's not even, that's before you put bananas in. Cornflakes with sliced bananas and milk, that's good. And then, of course, you got to add the sugar because they're just not sugary. I'm assuming that makes it even worse. But so those carbs are not good carbs.
They're not good carbs. You know, you're looking at just 1 cup, and of course, nobody eats just 1 cup as a serving.
Right.
It's 24 grams of carbs. And even if you add like a low-fat milk or a skim milk, that may add about 8 grams of protein if you had a cup, but it's going to add 12 more grams of carbohydrates. And so then you add the banana, and you're basically getting a, really, really big hit of sugar.
Yeah. So you're really talking about all cereal, not just cornflakes.
Pretty much all cereal is going to be void of fiber, except for, there's probably a few exceptions. I can't remember.
Well, you ever try to eat grape nuts? All of a sudden, it's like
grape nuts.
it's like consuming cement or Quikrete. Oh my Lord!
Watch your teeth, right?
Yeah, holy cow!
Yes, most of them are void of fiber.
Yeah. What about the what are the little biscuits of wheat that you get? Is it shredded wheat?
The shredded wheat. Yes, my dad used to eat that.
Yeah. And they'd put my mother would put on shredded wheat hot water out of the tea kettle. And that's what it would kind of soften it up a little bit. And then it'd get really soft. But you could not eat that without sugar.
You know what I
had
do?
to add sugar.
I take all of those good, healthy cereals, grape nuts included, mix them into a bowl of kind of softened ice cream.
Okay.
And there you go.
That's a treat and a half.
Yeah, that's a dessert, not a breakfast.
Yes, that's
It
a
is
good
a
point.
dessert.
What do you suggest, Betty Murray, for breakfast then?
So breakfast, what this research now shows is that if we have a protein-rich breakfast, so that might be a couple eggs, like an omelet or with vegetables and things like that, what's going to happen is your blood sugar is going to stay more stable throughout the day. So we've done studies on diabetics and even just the average American, and you get a better glycemic control the entire day. Brain works better, your blood sugar is not going to be all over the place, and you're less likely to eat more sugar or high carbohydrate foods later in the day.
Okay. Do you like eggs? I read a story just over the weekend that we're back to maybe saying eggs are healthy again.
I know. They go back and forth. I do like eggs. They are good source of protein, and good source of B vitamins, especially if you eat the yolk, and they're also easy to cook.
They're very easy, and I find that the diet that I try to be on, and I've failed miserably on, I have eggs every day. So it's the first thing I do. I get off the air and I make some eggs before I start the rest of my day. And you can have them so many different ways. You can put them in the little cupcake things and add some bacon and cheese or something like that. I'm on a keto diet, works really well. You can do an omelet. You can do scrambled, sunny side up. I mean, there's just so many different ways, and each way that's different gives the eggs almost a different taste, like you're eating a different meal. At least in my mind, it does anyway. So, I try.
Right. And well, especially baking them in a tin, like a muffin tin, that you can bake a bunch of them and have them for the week, so you don't have to whip up breakfast every morning, which has always been the argument for something as simple as cereal.
Right. Yeah. All right. So out with cereal, in with the eggs.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Betty Murray.
Thank you for having me.
Have a nice day. These nutritionists, all they want to do is ruin your day, to be honest with you. Sure, they're gonna try to make your life longer, but who wants a longer unhappy life?
That's a good point. You could be healthy and fit and happy, or you can be miserable and craving your next sugary covered meal. Look, I screwed up. I was doing the macros. What are the macronutrients when I was into fitness for a while, a couple of years ago, and it was like monitoring how many carbs you took, how many carbs, sugar, and fat. Right. I'm forgetting what the other ones are. Anyway, I started snacking on bananas because I figured it was better than the Snickers bar that I would typically have in the middle of the afternoon.
It's easy to think that fruits are the answer, right?
And it shot my sugar and carbs through the roof.
Yeah.
And I was working out with like a fitness instructor at the time, and I'm like, I don't understand. I feel like I'm starving myself. I have an apple every time in the morning. I like to kind of get my day going. I'm doing this thing where I'm eating bananas. Every time I want a snack, I haven't had any potato chips. I haven't no subs, no pizza. And they're like, wait. Every time you want a snack, you're having a banana? That's why your carb numbers are through the roof. I had no idea. There's
we're always taught a big tall glass of orange juice was good for you, and now if you're trying to cut carbs, they'll tell you it's horrible for you. It's all sugar. But Christine, don't they say the balanced diet is the way to go? You can have some orange juice as long as it's within reason. You can have a banana as long as you're not going crazy.
Right. And I find that the big thing in my household is just eliminating added sugars. It's amazing how many products have added sugars. Like orange juice is sweet enough. You don't need orange juice with added sugar. Yogurt, you don't need it with added sugar. So you look for things that don't have added sugar. Even tomato sauce, you'd be surprised at the amount.
The sugar that's in, yeah.
Right. I mean, you should be scolded anyway for not making your own gravy. But if you buy it in a jar, make sure that you get the no added sugar variety.
Did you see this story out of Wamsville? And this was from last week, a shelter in place called at the middle school there after students became ill when they ate food laced with marijuana.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting because I saw there was a report on it, but I couldn't find any police reports on it.
This is a middle school, so that's 7th, 8th, 9th grade?
I think so.
Okay.
It varies by district. Some are 6, 7, 8. Some are 7, 8, 9. So, yeah, I believe one student is alleged to have brought in a brownie. I don't know, or a cookie of some kind.
Okay.
And I don't know if the student knew that it contained THC allegedly. But it was shared and consumed by a couple of students, and then they complained of what upset stomach.
You think that the student didn't know?
No, I haven't seen anything that said
because then
explicitly that he brought it on purpose.
Okay.
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt.
Now you might be talking about a situation where they got into somebody else's and they brought them to school making their own lunch and packing their own lunch, and by mistake brought that in. Yeah, and by the way, that would be the excuse I would have if that's what I did.
I don't know the exact circumstances, but I know this, and again, I'm a big guy. I never brought a brownie to high school to share with somebody. Okay,
correct.
Whether it was a candy bar or a brownie or a bag of chips, I was consuming the whole thing.
It's odd that some kids, I guess, share more than others. I think I'm the same way. I would not be a sharer. It's like, here, have some of my Oreos.
Especially post-COVID.
Chocolate chip, right. Yeah, you don't want anybody getting near your stuff. Anyway, the police are investigating the incident. Superintendent says it'll be addressed in accordance with the code of conduct. And I will say that a lot of times when you're consuming marijuana, it is a different effect than what you would have if you're smoking it, right?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Sometimes it can have almost a psychedelic effect.
Some people have claimed to be high or feel high for multiple days, that it's a different process. And Dave Only from the state police talked about this before. It's a different process for your body when it consumes it through food or if it's smoked.
Okay, I said we'll give you a chance to win some Comets tickets. We'll take a break and come back and wrap it up and give you a chance to win. We'll tell you when to call in. We'll take them one by one. You get the question right, you win a 4-pack of tickets to see the Comets play 2 weeks from tonight, opening up 2 weeks from tonight. We'll do it next on WIBX.
Discover the difference that comes from a financial partner committed to building better tomorrows. I'm Jim McGuire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Utica. As a provider of trusted financial services in Utica, Baird is committed to making the future brighter for you and for our community. That's why we support local organizations like the Women's Fund of Herkimer and Oneida counties and the Capitol Theater in Rome, because we care about Utica. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
Okay, 3 more climbers, 7 loggers.
Ted's sustainably sourced logging company is growing a new branch.
What about truck driver contracts?
Which means a new HR manager will be the first hire to fall.
Then we'll need to staff up the warehouse.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Harry G., the heat pump expert from Country Suburban. When your state planning to eliminate fossil fuels, heat pumps are the wave of the future. Heat pumps can save you up to 30% or more on your heating and cooling bills. Right now, you can receive up to $20,000 in heat pump incentives. Call 315-735-5300 for a free estimate.
Can I get the sales projections for the Springfield, Bristol, and Fairview stores?
Val's Froyo Palace is dishing out 3 more locations.
Jody, have you lined up interviews?
They need 3 new store managers before they have a meltdown.
And remember, they need at least 5 years experience.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Montessori Preschool at Notre Dame Elementary School was voted #1 in the Observer Dispatch's Best of the Best. Enrollment for this year is still open, so apply now to reserve a place for your child. Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School is for children 3 to 5 years old and follows the educational principles of Maria Montessori. Our teachers and assistants work one-on-one and in small group instruction to help children develop their potential in an engaging environment, inspiring creativity, better self-discipline, and self-correction and assessment. At Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School, language, art, science, math, and geography are all part of the curriculum. In Montessori classrooms, children make creative choices in their learning, while the classroom teachers offer age-appropriate activities to guide the process and help children become lifelong learners. Enrollment is still open, so apply now. For more information, call 315-724-5118, extension 35, or visit NotreDameUtica.org. That's NotreDameUtica.org.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, Monday morning, and it's 8:56, and here's a chance for you to win tickets, a 4-pack of tickets to see the Utica Comets playing their season opening up 1 week from tonight. I'll start taking calls. I'll get these calls in here for you. You don't have to worry about it. 315-736-0186.
2 weeks from tonight.
It's 2 weeks. Did I say a week? 2 weeks from tonight, the Comets open up. If it's ringing, let it continue to ring. I'm just going to go through. If the person that I get gets it wrong, we'll take the next caller. Let's see who's on the line here. Good morning. Who's this?
It's Wayne.
Hi, Wayne. You ready to take a shot at winning Comets tickets? We're gonna use our same timer. You'll have 7 seconds to answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here we go, Wayne. Here is your question. What NHL team plays in an arena called the Pond? Ready, go.
The Pond. I don't know. North Carolina.
Is it North Carolina? Take another guess.
Is that even a team?
you know the North Carolina Mud Hens. Yeah.
There's the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah. It is the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim play at the Pond. All right, Wayne.
Where are they? Okay.
Anaheim,
day,
California. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day,
I
Wayne.
believe there's the Ducks now, right?
I think so. Here is, who is this? Hi, good morning.
Tom.
Tom, you said?
Yeah, I knew that question you just asked.
I know you did. So then I'm going to give you one you won't know. That's how it works. All right, take the tickets. Comets open up 2 weeks from tonight. How many NHL franchises were there in California by 1995? Ready, go.
2.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, it was actually 3. The answer was 3. Do we know which 3?
Well, there was the Kings.
Yeah.
There was the Ducks one.
Ducks would be 1.
And then who's the other one?
Sharks.
And the Sharks. San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, there you go. All right, good stuff. Try again, man. Hi, good morning. What's your name?
Tim.
Tim. All right, here's your question. There's a real easy one coming along here, and I know you'll nail it. All right, here's your question. 7 seconds to answer for Comets tickets. Which member of the Howe family held a record that Wayne Gretzky overtook in the 1980s? Ready, go.
Gordy.
Is the answer Gordy? It is.
Winning.
I told you there was an easy one coming.
Winning.
There you go. Bingo, bingo. You receive a 4-pack of tickets to the Utica Comets, opening up 2 weeks from tonight at the Adirondack Bank Center. What's your name again? It's Tom? Tim. All right, Tim, where are you calling from?
New York Mills.
All right, stand by. I'm going to give you to our guy back there, Julio, and he's going to take care of you. We got a new guy answering phones this morning, so Julio. You got him in there, Julio?
Yep.
Okay. There we go. Yep. The Gordie Howe, of course, that was a pretty easy one. So we'll continue with this. Each morning we'll give you a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see the Utica Comets. As the meteorologists say, I just can't believe it's already Comets season in October and all of that. As we said, the Comets open up 2 weeks from tonight. Got a bunch of comments. I'll get to them all tomorrow. We're out of here. News is straight ahead.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
Life is hard in areas Hurricane Ian hit hardest. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Gas remains in short supply here with long lines at stations that do have fuel. Many are still without power, and more than 600,000 Floridians are in the dark.
Fox Weather's Max Gordon is at Fort Myers Airport, which remains closed.
It's being used as a launching pad for humanitarian missions, including ones being driven by the National Guard. Now, around 5,200 National Guard members are a part of Joint Task Force Florida. They're manning food and water distribution sites, clearing roads, and they've also rescued and evacuated more than 1,500 people using boats, helicopters, and trucks.
Crews may also find